All right, Sharm. So when I get started, I like to have the guest do like a self promotion. Just tell the people like where on social media they can find you, your bands, where people can listen to your music.
Um, you can find me on Instagram at Drawn by Blood. On Facebook, just government name. For Scrutinize, we're everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, Amazon probably. Justifiable Homicide. I don't think there's any music out yet. I got some demos I could probably send you. But yeah, Don't Start None's on Bandcamp. Gonna try to get that up on streaming soon, but I don't know. I guess I could send you links or whatever and everything else, and we could put
Oh
in like
yeah,
the
it'll all be in the
description.
description. I got
Cool.
that shit. Yeah. And you got any like personal shout outs?
Um, I do want to make a personal shout out to my boy Dre and Purple Waves Club. Check them out on Instagram, Purple Waves Club. Awesome clothes made right here in Maryland.
Oh, dope. Hell yeah.
Awesome local company made by a great dude. Check it out. Shout out Jake. I just left your house. We just had some pizza. It was sick.
Dope.
Felt like old times. Yeah.
All right. I did want to give a shout out to the Angry Young Man podcast. I just kind of discovered them. They
Yeah.
got in
Shout
my
out Adam.
algorithm. Yeah, man, because he's doing similar thing to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just give a shout out. If any of you that are listening to me haven't listened to him yet, go check him out because you're gonna like
good
it.
podcast.
And just a couple announcements. My episode with Casey Gates, he was in Butcher's Dozen with Sharm here, came out a couple weeks ago. That's my most recent interview, so I'm going to promote that. And I do have an announcement. I had Trey Chaney from The Wire on my podcast a couple months ago, and I do have him returning in February with J.D. Williams. He was also on The Wire. He played Bodie. He also played Jabari in Saints and Sinners with Trey Chaney. He was in Oz as Kenny Wangler. So very excited for that. Yeah, exactly. He had that cameo.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about all that shit, so
That's sick.
stay tuned. And now we're going to start with the interview. Now, I just want to give the audience, how did that nickname Sharm kind of come about and stick?
It's my last name. Honestly, I don't know. A lot of people call my dad Sharm too.
Okay.
He's a mechanic, and when I was a kid, I always used to like work with him in a shop, so I always heard Sharm this, Sharm that, Charmin, might be a little bit too long. Sharm chopped up works for me.
Oh, yeah.
Only time people really call me Tyler is if they're like being serious, or if it's my workplace, or like my girlfriend, family. They're the only ones that really call me Tyler. So if you're gonna call me Tyler, come out of that serious matter. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, you gotta like. If someone says Tyler, they're like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know something's about to go down.
And when did you get into guitar and just like playing music and stuff like that?
So I got my first guitar when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I've always been into music. My mom was always into music. My dad, with him being a mechanic, he used to be a state inspector, and he used to bring home CDs all the time, and like everything from like Cave In to Metallica. Like I literally have like every single Metallica CD just because he either had it or like he found it in a car and gave it to me. So
yeah, that whole left side is my dad's CDs. So
yeah,
I'm like, I feel
similar
like
setup when I was a kid too, man.
yeah, man. I feel like a lot of people like whatever their parents listen to, they kind of gravitate
For
to.
sure. So that way it just I branched off into like way heavier and like crazier things. But
So how did that happen?
I honestly just like with like the heavier music, it's just always wanting to try and find something heavier.
So it was just like your self-interest. You wanted to find
like
heavier shit?
some stuff that like nobody likes that caters like to me.
Did you have anybody around you that was listening to that kind of
Yeah,
stuff that like influenced you in that way?
So my dad always finding the CDs. He was into like heavier kind of rock and metal too growing up.
I gotcha.
My mom was really big into like not only the rock but like hip hop and stuff. She also had like a punk side when she was a kid, so I found about like punk bands real early on. I want to give a shout out to my man Ed. I call him Uncle Ed. He's a tattoo artist. He did stuff on my leg. Check him out, Alternative Tattoo in Pasadena. Shout out Ed. If it wasn't for him, I probably would
Eddie
not.
Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a note about that. a
Yeah.
little bit
Awesome.
later.
Yeah. Great guy. But yeah, he's like my uncle, and anytime I used to go to the tattoo shop when my mom would work there, he'd always used to have like the craziest stuff playing. I'd be like, I gotta know what this is, like, and I do remember vividly hearing Unhallowed by like the Black Dahlia Murder, like
Aha,
that
okay.
like that CD in specific, and like that record, stuff like Injustice for All, um, and then not only that, but like fifth, sixth grade, the internet started getting like popping. You had like AOL radio, MTV was still kind of alright at the time. So I used to watch Headbangers Ball a lot. That's where I found about like fucking Hatebreed, and that's like my favorite fucking band ever. Um, you know, Big shout out to Viva La Bam. They always had crazy ass fucking music in there when I was a kid. CKY, that's another one of my favorite bands ever. Found out about them because of Jackass, CKY lore, Viva La Bam, all that. Um, but yeah, I, Schematics by Dying Fetus. I forget which episode it's in, but I seen it in the credits and was like, gotta have more. Found out they were from Maryland.
Oh yeah.
Game over.
Definitely, man. For me, same thing, right? Like my dad, Metallica, all that shit. And then my brother was listening to some like early Asking Alexandria.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in the car, and I was fucking elementary school, man. I'm like probably not even 10. Love that shit.
Yeah.
Love that shit. I'm in the back like, what is this?
Can't get enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Like literally, I just like typed the lyrics into YouTube and found it. And then from then on, YouTube algorithm pushes you more of that kind of music. Sure. And then, the music choice channels that are on cable.
Absolutely.
So, like,
that was another spot where I found out music.
Yeah, exactly, man. I would put on the metal, and I found out about so many bands. And then I would watch like Download Festival on cable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck
like,
yeah.
Rock AM Ring, all that shit. And then that one of those festivals is how I found out about Hatebreed. So
yeah.
And Hatebreed was my first mosh pit too.
That's so sick.
Hell yeah. All right. And like, who were your early guitar influences?
Eddie Van Halen for sure. Always, forever. R.I.P. Kirk Hammett, James Hetfield, definitely Jeff Hammond, Kerry King, Love Slayer. Fucking, I play a Jeff Hammond guitar, so.
I gotcha.
Yeah. When I first was like younger and first getting into guitar, I think like my biggest influence probably is like Dave Grohl. Not only like the guitars, but like growing up, I used to play the drums too. So like seeing him do both of that was just like, this guy is Superman, and like
right.
I still look up to the guy. He's an incredible musician.
Cool. So like those seem to be like all time. So I have all time, and then like who are your favorite like hardcore influences as far as guitarist goes?
Guitarist, like in the hardcore side, Sean Martin, Hatebreed. Damn, this you're really making me think on this one. Hardcore guitarist. So let's go. I'm just gonna give you three in no specific order. F. Sean Martin from Hatebreed. I can't think of his name on the spot. The guitarist from Leeway.
Okay.
The original guitarist from Leeway. Incredible. I'm drawing a blank with his name right now. And if I had to give another three, or another third, Lil Greg from Everybody Gets Hurt, Terror Avenue.
Cool.
Incredible guitarist, R.I.P.
Gotcha. You mentioned like when you got your first guitar. What was your first guitar, and then like what have you used up until now? What are you using now?
So my very first guitar was like this plastic one that had like keys on it and everything, and not long after that I got like a small little acoustic one, and then not long after that I got a Stratocaster, like I think a Squire Junior, I think it was called, and it's still in my dad's house. It's literally like this big. I think it's like 20 frets or something, but that was like the first guitar I like really learned how to play everything on, and I pretty much played like Stratocasters up. Like I still play like a Stratocasters type body guitar to this day. But it's always been consistent with like a Fenderish kind of or a Jackson kind of Stratocaster style guitar. I have a Warlock too, which I really like. I just don't really play it enough. It's a heavy ass guitar. Um, Shit, what was the question again, dude? Sorry, I was rambling.
No, you're good. It was basically you answered it. It was like, what was your first guitar, and then like,
Yeah.
what do you use up until now? So
Yeah,
you kind
yeah.
of answered that. Were you in any bands before Butcher's Dozen?
I was in a couple bands, like nothing like real official, just fucking around. When I was really young, shout out Cody Wilson Croft, Harbor Boys, great band.
Harbor Boys, Harbor Discussions.
That's right. Uh, him and I, when we were kids, we'd always talk about like starting bands and everything. So we would just like real young, just be mess around our instruments. I think it wasn't until like in middle school, and I met my friend Doyle, who is unfortunately not with us anymore. Rest in peace. And my friend Donnie, we used to like jam once in a while, and never like did anything serious. We would just like jam. We'd always talk about doing like a battle of the bands type thing, but it would never work out. When you're young, you really can't get rides anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Getting musical equipment is a whole other ball game. I mean, I always had like a drum set or something, nothing, but I didn't get like a big giant amp and head until I was way out of high school. But fucking, I think it was around like when I got out of high school, I like, started really getting bigger into music, and I had some friends that were down to jam. And we would jam once in a while at a friend's house, whatever, not take it seriously. Never really made anything of it. And it wasn't up until like Jake and I started Butcher's Dozen, I started taking guitar like seriously, was like the first time I was in like a real band, like, playing shows and like, driving out to go play shows type of deal. So
Gotcha.
Butcher's Dozen was like the very first one.
Cool. Now, like, perfect segue, right? Because when I had Jake on for the very first episode, he said, Sharm's my right-hand man when it comes to, like, everything I've done as far as music. So I wanted to make a note, just talk about how you met Jake.
I met Jake at the Art Space probably back in about 2014, 2015. And, he'd just be a goofball at the shows, moshing around, always straight up moshing all the bands, chilling with the bands. He'd be outside, with Taylor. They'd be fucking, hacking up along in a corner or something. And just eventually I was just like, yo, man, like, if you ever want to play sometime, let me know.
Hell yeah. So on this channel, we've covered a lot of Butcher's Dozen history, guys.
Yeah.
So in this description, I'll link the very first episode with Jake, and then I'll link the most recent episode, which I shouted out at the beginning with Casey Gates. They both cover Butcher's Dozen almost at length, but I still think we should note a few things. What were some of your favorite B12 shows that you played?
Definitely Almost Out.
Legendary.
I don't know if Jake or Casey went on to tell you
Oh,
when
yeah,
we played that
we
show,
definitely
but I
covered.
broke a string. Like, let me just go on the record real quick. Anytime there is like, a big gig for me, there is always going to be something that it's just Murphy's Law. Like, something's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break a string. My amp's not going to work,
For a second, I
it's just
thought
my
you meant,
destiny.
like, I was jamming so hard that I broke a string for a sec.
Yeah, well, I think it was 2 songs in. It was either like after our intro or like we were about to go into the second song, and they were literally brand new strings. I broke one, and like my guitar was all out of tune. Luckily, we had a second guitarist at the time, so he was able to like pick up the slack a little bit. But
That's good.
I remember after playing the song, I was like in the mic, like, does anybody have a guitar I can use? And it was like crickets, and I was just like,
Damn.
whatever, man, I'll thug this out. Other cool shows, definitely the shows we played with, like Penitentiary. Those are always going to mean a lot because, those dudes are awesome. And R.I.P. to Chris.
Yeah.
I didn't think, it was going to be Penitentiary's last gig, but it was, and it was an honor to play it. And it was an honor to always play with them guys. Beatdown Nation, I think it was 2019. That was a good show for Butcher's Dozen. That was a real good time. Anytime we played on Long Island, it was always fun. Yeah, always got mad love for Long Island, still do.
Dope.
Especially all the people out there. All great dudes.
Hell yeah. Alright, so the only other note I have, so B12 was described to me sort of as a party band. So I was just curious, right? You got any interesting or wild stories that maybe haven't been told yet on the podcast?
I know Casey told the one about the avalanche on Gale Road.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh God.
you know, I literally did not even think about the crazy stories that I could tell on the podcast. I don't know if Casey ever told or if Jake Casey ever told the story, but back in I think it was 2018, we did a little like middle of the week type tour with our boys in Player Hater, and we played at this place called E Block in East Brunswick, New Jersey, and right outside Rutgers University. I think it was the first time we ever played a house show like as a band, but we always been going to house shows, and
Right.
like I was like mad excited for it. I already knew like mad people in the area, and I knew people were gonna come out, so I forget who else was on the bill. Crucial Rip was on it as well. I want to say Eye of the Destroyer. I think they were on it, but I don't think they ended up playing. But that show was wild, and like that whole string of shows was absolute chaos, and like I would do anything to do a couple more shows of Player Hair again. If if you ever want to check out a cool band, they're not around anymore, but Player Hater from New Jersey was an awesome band.
Dope.
Great guys. Shout out Wax Man.
Cool. All right. So now I want to talk about Don't Start None. Now, as far as the name goes, is this from the ancient Tibetan philosophy? Don't start none, won't be none.
I want to say yeah. You might have to ask Jake and Taylor about that. I think Taylor was the one that came up with the name, and was just like it's a cool band name. I'm
Yeah.
surprised it's not taken yet, but might as well take it.
Right. Have you ever thought about like doing merch that says that, like "Don't start none, won't be none"?
I've had a couple ideas for merch, and I know Delp's had a couple ideas for merch, and like I recently stylistically I've been having like I don't know what like for like merch designs and stuff. I don't even know where to begin, especially with like Scrutinize and Don't Start None. Like we see like bootlegs and stuff all the time of like our favorite bands. Like we should rip this off, but like one of these days you might have just came up. We may have to do a harbor discussion with X. Don't Start None collab. Don't Start None won't be none shirt.
I'm gonna bring up an idea I have like in a little bit because it'll relate to some Scrutinized merch.
Cool.
So, but I do want to talk about the 2020 demo release that Don't Start None did. That shit was hard as fuck. That shit made me want to like get violent
Yeah.
with anybody around me.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I would listen. Like I've listened to that at work, and like I was like stomping through the shelves and shit. Like definitely a banger. I will have that linked in the description. People go listen, go support.
Trying to get it up on streaming soon. Just gotta figure it out.
Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. One of the things this was said, bringing the beat down back to Baltimore. So just talk about the demo a little bit. What was
Are
that
we
like?
So we talking about the most recent demo,
Yes,
or
yes.
okay? Because there is a demo before that. So the most recent, the 2022 demo, we did it all at my house, which was cool. Same thing with the demo beforehand, but I feel like this one was a little bit better, and we had a little bit more fun doing it. I don't know if you heard like all the, I haven't listened to it like with headphones on. I've only listened to like, I know it sounds fucked up because didn't you like make the music and shit? But literally like I've listened to it at my laptop and in my truck and like thought good. But like you listen in the background, you can hear us like fucking laughing our asses off.
Oh yeah, but I like that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
and that's you can ask Jay, like that's all we could ever want to do with our bands, like that is on brand for Don't Start None. So like
Yeah, I laughed when it was bring the beat down back to Baltimore, bitch.
yeah, shout out, yeah, Del, he we deleted so many like vocal tracks like from the songs. Like we would be like, let's do this. Like Delp's got this pterodactyl noise that he does, and like I'm not even joking. They'll blow the windows out in this basement. Like it is a screech.
You might have to send it to me as a sound bite, and I'll put it on my thing.
R.I.P. everybody with headphones. That's all I gotta say. I'll tell you the funnest part about writing that demo, and I don't know if you listen to the song Eastern Ave, but there's a line where Taylor says, "Born and bred Essex fucking raised me." I just want to
Yeah,
say,
yeah, yeah.
me and Jake were like, "Yo." He originally he said something about like Baltimore, and I'm like, "Hold on, we're getting on brand right here. Nobody ain't talk about Essex, dude.
Yeah, right,
We're
right.
bringing Essex back." So we named the song Eastern Avenue. We born and bred Essex fucking raised me.
Yeah, I
Thought it
think
was
Jake
great.
had a post that said something like, "This is the hardest fucking line of 2022,"
Yeah,
something like
straight
that.
up. I can attest to one thing. There's just like these one liners in each demo that just comes a running joke with us. Like I don't know if you've listened to the first demo
Yeah,
and listened to Time to Pay, but I mean it's on the newer demo too. But when Taylor says it's been on my mind. I don't know why, but like me and Jake just look at each other and we just start losing it each time. Like it's the funniest thing. And like when we went and re-recorded the demo, we like quad tracked the "It's been on my mind," so people really know that it's been on my mind.
yeah, man. Um, like you were talking about with the like no one shouts out Essex. We were talking about Ryan Sickler earlier and how
Mhm.
he's from Carroll County, man. That's what I respect about him. He doesn't just say he does say he's from Baltimore, but he also mentions like where he's actually from. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
a lot of people just say like, I'm from Baltimore, just to keep it
yeah.
short. It's like they don't shout out the
When I
small
listen to his
parts in there.
podcast and he starts getting descriptive with like the locations and everything,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
like,
man.
yeah. Now it's got like when he did the episode with Stavros and they were just like naming locations. I was like, this is the kind of podcast quality I need. This is real at home right here.
Oh, absolutely, man. And it's like with the wire and stuff like that. What's funny is I meant to bring this up earlier. You were talking about how when you were a kid, like it was like one of the one shows you like your parents wouldn't let you watch
Mhm.
and stuff like that. So I was, to keep it short, like I was watching The Wire and I was high as shit. And then I started to realize like, why is this show like all of a sudden getting really fucking familiar to me?
Mhm.
And then like my subconscious just like flashed me back and I was like, "Oh shit, this was on the TV like at my like
Yeah,
at the
absolutely.
house that
Yeah.
I remember and shit."
Yeah,
I
there
was
was
like,
definitely scenes where I was like, wait, I remember seeing like catching a snippet of this when I was a kid.
yeah, like one of them was just like Rouse and McNulty or some shit in the office, like in the fucking high rise at night, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck is this?"
Hmm.
Like I almost got like shot back as a kid. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
Um, Now the last note I have for Don't Start None, y'all played Barncore this year, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, just talk about Barncore because I saw the videos and I knew what Barncore was, right? I knew it was just beat down fucking festival, but then I saw the footage from this year and I was like, wow. And like,
It's a
yeah,
family fun event.
bring the kids to Barncore.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. You know, I just want to make a huge shout out to the whole IDS crew for letting us come and open it up, and it was awesome. Definitely got a cool reaction. We wanted to cover Transcendence. Scrutinize was already doing it for a little while, so I know Jake already knew it on drums. I was like, Taylor loves Irate. Let's just cover it at Barncore, and it was a good idea. And we played it at our last show too. I think we've played it at like every show recently, so that's been pretty cool. But at Barncore, it's so cool. Was able to like we Butcher's Dozen got to play it the first year, and it was
Nice.
great. And it was one of our second to last show, I think it was, and incredible. Got a good reaction. Had a real good time. The food was awesome. The hangs was great. Got to see Billy Club Sandwich, and it was a no-brainer. Me and Jake that we're coming back the next year or like the year after. We're gonna keep on playing this as long as we can. This is like the coolest like thing that like could happen. Like getting into this type of music. Like this is exactly like what it's about.
Yeah.
Family, like having a good time, no bullshit. People just having a good time. Nobody complaining.
Yeah, and if people like, I've seen a lot of like fucking shit talk on like the beatdown community and shit like that, and like, cause people see videos and they get all butthurt, but it's like, it's all like consensual, you know what I mean? Like I kind of speak your mind, I guess, a little bit on it, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, it's the people that are there that have been going it a long time. They know what it's about.
right,
Beatdown shows. They don't have a lot of people there, but the people that go there, they're about the fucking music. They're about the dancing. you know, not a lot of people are into it. You know, it's different type of music. You know, it's the outcast of hardcore.
Right. Well, I think it's not the music that people like get like that they talk about. It's like just the environment at the shows and the mosh pits and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
You know,
For people who think that like it's too much or whatever, like
stop being a sissy.
there we go.
Stop being a sissy.
Fucking
You know,
A.
you listen to the lyrics, you hear what they're talking about. You know, everybody's got YouTube nowadays. If you want to see what a band looks like live, you know, if you want to make sure you're about this, go on YouTube, look at a video, make sure you don't. If you don't want to fucking go, don't go. You know, if you want to talk shit on the internet, you know, go ahead, be a fucking sissy. But you know, even kids come out to the shows nowadays. You know, they might hate it at first, but they end up might fucking loving it after a couple times. You
Right. Yeah, man.
know? It's.
I'm in agreement, bro. I mean, people gotta understand like what they're going to, man. Me and Casey talked about this because, you know, he brought up how like a lot of normies, more or less, is the only term, are coming to these shows and stuff like that, and they do not understand the type of environment. So like when
Right.
they get hit in the head with a crowd surfer's foot because they weren't looking, or you know they're standing like right in the fucking outer ring of the mosh pit and they get moshed into and they get all pissed off and start like hitting people. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're at a hardcore show. Like, people are gonna get hit into you. It's a rough environment, as it should be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think it takes a couple times for people to really get a taste. Like, you know, I think you know, one person that goes and has a bad time at the beatdown show, you know, they might not come back around, but, you know, somebody might have a bad time, they might come back around and end up having a good time, and, you know, they want to keep on coming back, you know. It's whichever way you want to take it, you know. If, you know, you're scared about getting hit in a pit, you know, just fucking stay in the back, keep your head on a swivel. If you want to go up in the front, you know, it doesn't take, you know, a large comprehension to, you know, learn the dynamics and like the unspoken rules of the pit, you know what I mean? You know, if you see somebody doing some shit that, you know, that isn't cool, you know, do something about it.
Oh yeah, and like that's the thing. Like, people don't realize like, yo, these pits are like way more regulated than you think.
Yeah, there's unwritten rules that
like the people
don't-
in the pit are regulating shit at a more efficient rate than security is. Like by the time security gets to the pit, like that shit'll be like half handled already.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, it's different everywhere you go. I've you know, getting to be in these bands, I've gotten to go to like different places and see, you know, I don't know if you want to call it mosh etiquette.
I was just about to say there's probably slightly different etiquette per state.
Pit discretion, but you know, there's places you go and like, I don't want to say like around here soft. I mean, there's definitely some hard, like, there's some moshers around here, but we start getting into places like in the Northeast, Pittsburgh, New York, New Jersey, you know, that's when you start seeing shit and you're like, you know,
you need to
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's badass. Like, I wish people would start doing that.
Pussies need to sign a waiver to get in.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, but you know, I feel like don't be a sissy, man. Just
exactly.
Just come and have a good time. If you don't want to get hit, just stay in the back, man. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
If there's no back, just go outside. Just come in after the bands. It'll be all right.
Yeah, man. People got to get themselves acclimated into this shit if they really want to be about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Real talk. I mean, once you get used to like all the fucking flying fists and shit, like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You just got to know to stay vigilant at all times.
Absolutely.
Like, dude, like, you know, Turnstile was like an example we were using because like they're getting pushed so huge right now that a lot of people are coming to these shows.
Yeah.
And it's like, I saw fucking white girls getting pissed because people were they had boots hitting them in the head and shit. And it's like, I can tell you haven't been to a show before because you're not paying attention to the dudes in front of you going like this, fucking telling you there's a crowd surfer. And it's like, people, because I've seen videos of like older Turnstile shows and like all the comments are just they're just like, dude, like, this is what Turnstile was, like, this is, you know, these kids don't know. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of true, because like shit, if turnstile shows were still like basically like that instead of more push pit and stuff like that, like, oh, these people would not.
Yeah, they would not
fucking
be into it at all. And it's crazy to see a band like that go from, I seen Teeth flying at a turnstile show before growing up.
right,
Like,
yeah,
I've been seeing this band a long time. And I went to their most recent show in DC at the Anthem.
nice.
And like, they played some older songs, and I could tell like right off the bat that like it was a vibe change right there. Like I think they played "Things You Do," and that's like one of their first songs that they ever wrote. And like I looked around, and like it was just like,
Oh man, that sucks. I saw him in Denver, and to be fair, I was like, me and my cousin got there pretty early, and it was like the only show I've ever been like at the barricade for. I
Yeah.
was front row, so I looked back a couple times and like kind of saw everything, but like I didn't really get a set. But the vibe seemed good like all throughout, but they did not play that much of the older stuff, and I was a little disappointed, dude. I was hoping to hear like keep it moving, that sort of shit, like some shit off Step to Rhythm. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't even know if they played a single song off Step to Rhythm.
I don't think they played any when they
Yeah.
played at the when they played the Anthem. I think they might have played some old songs at the Glow On record release. I was at that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was really weird sitting. I was standing in the crowd, like right by the pit, and I looked to the right of me, and Scott Reardon from 98 Rocks there. I'm like,
Wow.
yo, like, what's up, man? And then they were on the station the next day, and now they play them on there, but they got them like real low. Like they chop the songs up so much they fit them in that.
Oh, dude.
Radios are such scam.
Fucking, I need to invest in like satellite radio.
Yeah.
Satellite radio is where it's fucking
for
at.
sure.
Dude.
Yeah. When I used to work at the dealership, every car had it like programmed in. So Liquid Metal, Ozzy's Boneyard, shit like that.
Yeah, dude, my shit's super big. Like my car's great, but like fucking, it's all got the basic functions. So like, I just need I need to replace like the console. I need some fucking satellite radio in that bitch for sure. Some blue fucking, because I got one of the plug-in Bluetooth things. So like, if I could get one that's got Bluetooth built,
I got
in,
one
like,
too in my truck. It hooks up to my cassette player.
Yeah, get some speakers and shit for sure.
I got some Bose speakers in mine.
Oh hell yeah,
Be bumping.
definitely. So Justifiable Homicide, we kind of talked. You said like no music out, nothing like that. Is there any update on Justifiable Homicide?
Not really at this moment. Justifiable Homicide's me, Jake, Brandon, our friend Michael. Michael plays a Morbid Deity. Great Maryland band. If you haven't listened to them, check them out. May have a couple of those dudes on the podcast. They've all been in the scene for a long time. And so on top of us being on different bands and having different things going on, just haven't had time to like get together and like
Understandable,
riff. Like,
definitely.
I don't know if Jake said anything, but we had a demo and like we've been sitting on it for so long. It's him on drums, me on guitar, bass, and him on vocals, and like I think it's somewhat solid and can put it out. But like when we were like thinking about dropping that, Michael came to us and was like, "Hey, look, would you like if I joined the band?" I was like, let's revisit these tracks, maybe go over them, and then just. They got busy with the Morbid Deity stuff. That stuff's taken off. Brandon's also in Scrutinize, and we got a bunch of stuff going on that we'll probably get into later. And Jake's availability, it just hasn't really worked out.
Yeah, he joined Suckawut.
Yeah,
So,
and he sounds incredible.
Hell
He's
yeah.
an incredible vocalist.
Yeah, I'm excited to check him out at one of the shows. I had Mike, Nate, and Billy on. So.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, and then what's funny is like when I found out they joined Suckwood, I was like, oh, that's funny. Now I've had that whole lineup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm definitely gonna I wanted to get him back in at some point too. I'll get the two of you back in. I want to get some. Now that I got the camera, I want to get some repeats back in here.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
So now we're going to talk about Scrutinize. That's going to be like the main vocal point as far as the bands you're in, because I haven't covered Scrutinize except like a couple mentions here and there. So just talk about like how that band formed.
So, Mike, the vocalist, shout out Mike, he had like the whole idea for Scrutinize like before he like I'm pretty sure he even like met me. like this has been like his idea for like a long time, and I met Mike when I was really young at one of the back to school jams in New Jersey, and we became friends. Back then, I never would have thought we'd end up in a band together, but he was doing some stuff with the dudes from Shackled, like going on the road with them and stuff, and I think he might even had like some like demos like of them just like fucking around. He'd be like, "Look, here's Scrutinize," and I'd always be fucking around like, "Yo, when's Scrutinize dropping? When's Scrutinize dropping?" So Mike ended up moving to Maryland, and we ended up making Scrutinize a real thing. I think it was literally like right at the beginning of 2020. You know, I didn't want to say things were slowing down for Butcher's Dozen, but like, you know, Dane was working a lot, and you know, at the time, COVID wasn't like, you know, on our radar. So, me and Mike, you know, he was like, "Hey, you know, I met this guy named Brandon. He's pretty cool. He plays drums." You know what? This might have been 2019. Now I'm thinking about it. It might have been the end of 20. I'm getting the dates mixed up, but it was sometime before COVID.
That sounds about right.
So we just decided, you know, hey man, let's jam one day. Um, so somehow I don't know how Krim ended up in the mix. I think Clay, who you know from Morbid Deity, Path to Warrior, was in Butcher's Dozen for a little bit. Deep Rest. He was in like jamming with us for a little bit, and we had a couple practices here and there, and then COVID happened. Got back together. It was like, you know, we were always working on the demo. I feel like the demo was just like a recording on my computer and was just like sitting there. It was just like, when are we gonna put this out? Like story of my life. I have so many demos on my computer. It's sickening.
Yeah, no, I have cigar discussions on my computer too that are just waiting as well.
Backlog. Yeah.
Yeah, there's shit that like is like I have shit in that episode that references back to shit that's so long ago that if I put it out now, people would be like, "What the fuck is he talking about?"
Yeah. And you're gonna have to like go and do some reacts, like,
yeah.
hey, please go and listen to the episode.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But when we were like, you know, I'm sorry, Sean, but like, I don't know, like, you might have to get him on the show, explain how he got in the band. We all just showed up at my spot one day. My house has always been the jam spot. We just started riffing out one day. You know, for some reason, I feel like I had this demo sitting on my computer for mad long, all recorded in my house. You know, I think at the time I only used like one microphone to record everything, like separate takes, but like eventually got like a good enough demo, sent it out to Y. Oberholzer, great producer, engineer. If you ever need, you know, hardcore music done, he mixed it and mastered it and sent it back to us. We put it out.
So when you do the recordings at your house, is that the Drawn by Blood Studios?
Drawn by Blood Recordings.
Yeah. So where did that name come about?
So the whole Drawn by Blood thing started because I love Dehumanize. They have a song called Drawn by Blood. I was like, damn, that's a cool name. And I think all of my social medias are like literally named after Dehumanized songs. Doomed to Die, Drawn by Blood. The list goes on, but that's another good band that's a big influence on like everything like music wise I've ever done.
Yeah, I use Bandcamp for a lot of my research, and then I saw Drawn by Blood Recordings, and then I remembered your Instagram handle, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I know the correlation there. So
yeah, it's just I just made it my moniker for some reason. Like I've always wanted to like.
That sounds hard.
I've always wanted to go like, you know, crazy with it, like make it like an official like type of like thing, and just, you know, money gets into the situation. It's like, you know, I want to set aside money for this, and then this comes up. But it's just like it's all DIY, man. It's just something I have in my house.
I have a shirt design that I already thought about. Basically, I bought a vintage Harbor Unit T-shirt from like it's like a NYPD and it says like Harbor Division. So I wanted to blast my logo on that.
Yeah.
So like I'm like in the same boat. Like I have projects that I think about, and then it's like I have the T-shirt upstairs.
I got a design to show you after the thing. I had a design in mind that I saw. It's another like not like Harbor Division, but like when I was in Alabama, there first and foremost, Alabama, you gotta get your weed laws together, bro. It's fucked up down there.
Man.
Literally, like smoking weed, you're a criminal down there. It's fucked up.
It's like some fucking fucking Dubai shit over there.
I mean, it's not like that, but like it's fucked up, dude. It's literally like,
That's crazy.
you gotta watch your back. But anyway, I was at a barbecue restaurant, stoned to the gills, and there was this guy. He had a bulletproof vest on. It had this big ass patch on the back, and it was the Grim Reaper with the scythe and the weed leaf in the background, and it said like Alabama State Police Narcotics Division.
What
and I was like,
the
yo, fuck the police, but that is the hardest design I think I have ever seen. And my homie Kevin and Nick from the band The Road, shout out them.
It's like some Sons of Anarchy shit, man.
Yeah, we all saw it when we were down in Alabama getting barbecue.
That's some gang shit,
yeah,
bro.
we literally all looked at each other and we're like, I'll get into it later, but we have like a side project we've been working on for like 3 years, and it's like, yo, that's one of the merch designs right there, and like it's in my back pocket on my phone. Like we've discussed it. It's just whenever we decide to get around to actually doing some fucking music for this project, or like doing shows or whatever, we'll get the shirt design out. But I'll show you a picture of it afterwards.
That's fucking tough.
I gotta do some digging in my phone, but it's some funny shit.
Hell yeah. Who does the lyric writing for Scrutinize?
It's all Mike. I think Sean had a hand in a couple, like when we were in the studio and stuff like that. Shout out Krim and Sinister Feeling. I didn't know this at the time, and I'm not trying to like dig in his ass or whatever, but like Sean is another great vocalist, and like lyricist too. Shout out Sinister Feeling, that's his band. He does vocals for, and he kills it. And but Mike does, as far as I know, he does all the like lyric writing. I think I've added like hey, you should add this here and time there. But for him, he's sole purpose writer.
All right, so in this instance, right, I'll bring up some of the lyrics that I found for the self-titled that were on Bandcamp, and I just kind of want your thoughts on the lyrics, and I think you'll be able to give some good input, because we were talking earlier about, like, just getting into conspiracies and things like that, and these aren't necessarily, like, conspiracy lyrics, but it's kind of on, it's on a government kind of topic, so for the song Scrutinize, and we're talking about the self-titled. It's on Bandcamp, released in September of 2020. Just who put all these people in power? Time's up, now is their final hour. From the ones who bring our demise, empty rhetoric, nothing but lies. So what's your, like, what does that kind of mean to you?
Like, Mike's asking the question, like, who the fuck's putting these fucking people in power? Why are they still in power? Questions we often ask ourselves weekly, living in the fucking world we live in nowadays, where fucking having a free thought and just fucked up in somebody's eyes, or like even like questioning something. I think you could get him on here to go into the lyrics a little bit more, but like from my standpoint, like we definitely got a problem in the system, and it all starts with who's in fucking power.
Definitely.
And like, why are they still in power?
I was talking about this with some guys at the cigar shop up on Main Street, and it was like very briefly, but I mentioned how like the people who make decisions, they have people telling them what to do. You know what I mean? Like the shot callers in the government, they have shot callers that we don't know about.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with that. There's people behind closed doors like making the decisions. And like, I don't know how like people like just look at the media every day and just like, want to live in this fucking fear realm all the fucking time. And
guaranteed, man. I stopped watching the news and shit because like, dude, 90% of it is like fear porn.
They don't tell you anything are good.
Ridiculous.
When's the last time you heard anything fucking good?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
They save everything at the fucking end, and it's like 5 minutes worth.
It's all bullshit too.
Yeah, it's literally new in science. Grass is green.
Some random fucking like kid getting a dog for Christmas.
Yeah, oh, look at this picture from Susie's Christmas party that they submitted to WJZ13 or some shit. I don't know.
Some shit from QVC or some dumb shit.
Yeah,
like that, man.
News is so bad for you, and like, if you just want to sit in front of a screen and listen to what these people tell you, and want to live like they do and praise their ideologies and shit like that, like What? First of all, if don't listen to my band if you're that type of. No, I'm kidding. But like, definitely need to question everything at this point. And
Well, you know what's funny is, right? I think if we posted the lyrics like on an Instagram quotes page, dude, I guarantee you like a lot of like certain people would like share it and things like that. But if they heard what we were talking about, they'd be like, "Oh, wait, that's
yeah,
not what I thought was
absolutely
going
not. Yeah,
on."
absolutely not. Yeah. Um, but getting back on the subject of like people in power, you know, it truly does need to be their final hour. There's no reason like there's no reason why somebody in their 70s or 80s should be working for the government still collecting a check when they got a fucking back like a bank account like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Uh-huh.
You know, you're just in power just to, whether it's to feed your fucking ego or you got fucking I don't know how deep in the weeds I can get in this podcast with the shit I say, but
We're pretty early on,
I,
so like we can pretty much talk about
hey
whatever,
man,
dude.
these people in power getting it's fucked up, and especially when Mike wrote these lyrics, I feel like it was at a time like, you know, we're sitting at home, not being able to do shit, but yet all these people are out,
Oh yeah, and like,
the leader are getting on with their lives.
mm-hmm.
Like it's no fucking big deal. Like we all saw it,
And
dude.
no, in fact, they were thriving
Yeah.
at the time.
And people are still struggling, and they're going to continue to fucking struggle.
Yeah.
And I a solution to that problem would be starting at who's at the top, who's in power, and you got people that have been working in the government for 40, 50 plus years that are pushing rules that society no longer needs, and
Oh yeah.
why are we resorting back to these ways? And it's all just a fucking if you listen to some conspiracy podcasts, they'll tell you it's a spiritual war, and at times you gotta sit back and look at it, and it truly is a spiritual war.
It's been over decades, but like all of the shit like that and like I fall victim to this shit, like the fucking consumer market, like just being a creature of consuming
Yeah.
and shit like
That's
that.
all we do
Like
as humans, though.
it's like you once you realize like shit like that, you really see like it starts like when you're fucking like young as fuck, and you're programmed in all sorts of ways you got no fucking
For sure,
clue.
for sure.
It's crazy.
And it's weird seeing
And it's all bad for you like spiritually. It's all shit that like really like the whole like you gotta really like it's people think it's corny sometimes when people like, oh, eat healthy, but like trust
No.
me, dude, like I work in a warehouse. I see people who eat vending machine food
Yes, sir.
for
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I'm
Amen.
talking sodas and chips and honey buns for breakfast every day, and they wonder why they're walking around complaining that they're fucking tired and groggy.
I come from that same work environment. Mike does too. Mike is a blue collar worker, and I know he understands. That whole like it's especially like being a blue collar worker. I think you feel it the most. Like
Oh yeah.
The pressure of society, and just the fucked up shit going around. Like you just work harder and harder and harder. Shit gets tougher and tougher and tougher, but for the people at the top, it gets nothing but easier.
Hardest work with the like least reward, man.
For sure. And
Blue collar usually gets like the worst benefits. You know what I mean? Unless you
Absolutely.
get a really good company, like the place I work has pretty good benefits, and union jobs have.
But you gotta work towards it, and you gotta find it.
If you're in the middle of middle class, like ugh.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's rough.
You in this world, you gotta bust your ass, man. Like, unless you got like a trust fund or something, you gotta have a hustle somewhere.
You gotta figure out how the shit works, and then you gotta fucking figure out how to slip into the cracks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, they pretty much got this stone wall up, but they got cracks in the wall that you can fucking like slither into.
And you know what? Anytime that somebody tries to make it through that crack, there's always a fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's fucking cryptocurrencies or during the pandemic when everybody was doing, stocks and the whole hedge fund thing, you saw how mad these motherfuckers in power got when people started getting a taste for it. And, I don't know how far and deep I'm going to go in the rabbit hole, but what's the next scrutinized lyric you got? Because I bet we could find another conspiracy theory to go into.
The next song is called Sheeple.
Yeah.
And I coined the terms that y'all use, the machine and political propaganda. But the lyrics I chose, it's the force that pushes you that will surely construe your views on life, making you just a mind, lifeless like a computer, a robot for them to control. We were kind of just talking about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The force that pushes you, that's basically talking about the people in power. So, and it's like, I really like the lyric, that will surely construe your views on life. Because really, like, the shit that you're pushed, that's what's going to construe your views. So sometimes you really got to change up what you, like, I forgot who it was. Someone was saying, like, your diet is not just what you consume, like, as far as food. It's what you consume as far as media, things like that. So just what are the phrases, I guess, like machine mean to you, political propaganda?
Machine's definitely the man. Political propaganda, I mean, it's 2022 now, but shit's gonna be ramping up in a couple months for a full fucking election like we've never fucking seen.
I have no interest in this now.
I'm right there with you, but even if we don't have any interest in it, we're still gonna fucking end up as a society, like, even, we're just gonna end up in some way or another being like seeing this shit.
No one's ever gonna be like, half the population's never gonna be happy. You know what I mean? In some
absolutely.
ways.
And not to get so political and everything, but R's and D's can only the shit. It needs to end now. You need to have some that's like.
I think that's fine because, like, honestly, like, I'm like, this sort of political talk's okay, but as far as like, bashing one side or the other, like, that's just
they all deserve to be bashed.
That right? Yeah, no, I never affiliated with any particular party because
Absolutely.
I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna align with either one fully.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, there's
I mean?
for everything,
and all it does is divide, honestly,
yeah.
man. Because like,
and look how divided this country is now. It's just getting more divided.
Right, like, I grew up in a Democrat household, not like heavy Democrat or anything like that, but last election I started kind of leaning the other way, and that's why I'm glad I never affiliated totally. But now I'm just starting to realize, like, man, look, I'm not saying people shouldn't get involved in politics or like keep up with politics, but like, if I'm being honest, like, it's not even worth like getting that involved, because like, trust me, last election it was my first time voting, so like, I got pretty involved as far as like getting in the know of what's going on.
Right.
It's a lot of fucking effort to stay involved in knowing what's up with politics.
Yeah,
and, like, if I'm
and
being
just
honest,
watching the news just fucking,
just gets you fucking riled up, man.
And now we live in a world even where, you mentioned like, hey, this is the political view I have. You're automatically, sorry to say this, scrutinized.
Yeah.
Which either ideology, back when I was younger, people didn't talk about that shit. People went to people would have their little signs, Bush, Kerry, I remember that when I was a kid, Obama, Romney, but, people would not be talking about, like, bragging out the mouth that, like, yeah, I'm going to go vote for this guy because he said this and blah, 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 blah. Now it's like, they have everything in
it's
such a way that,
it's different now. Yeah.
They want to cause such a divide and everything. And it's all horseshit.
Yeah, Andrew Schulz was funny. He's like, it's about if you can move merch now. Can you move merch as a president?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. Are you a fan of Shane Gillis at all?
Yeah.
Him and his Trump impression is great.
Absolutely. No, there's totally a bunch of hypocrisy. I remember one of the things, like, I saw fucking AOC. She's big on like anti-capitalism and shit like that, and she was selling like $60 t-shirts and shit like that, and I like posted that shit. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is Alexandria, I hate capitalism, ? Cortez.
Yeah, 60.
Selling
Yeah,
fucking t-shirts, fucking.
probably printing on like a $8 blank.
Yeah, oh, guaranteed. It's probably like some of the worst shit.
$8 blank, $4 screen.
Fucking probably made in a fucking factory,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
sweatshop type
Yeah.
situation. So, so a robot for them to control, right? And like lifeless like a computer.
Mhm.
How do you think we're put in ways to where we're like that? You know, what are some of
To
the
make
ways?
us lifeless like a computer.
Yeah.
Um,
I would
I
probably say like the workforce,
yeah, that
school systems.
or just being relying on stuff like the media to
Mm-hmm.
like be your only source of like you know the only way you should live your life. You know what I mean? Because if you're digesting everything these corporations tell you,
I think people,
you're becoming a product.
yeah, your moral compass shouldn't rely on the media.
Yeah.
They say that, fuck me. So they say the school system
Mhm.
is basically just pushing workers out.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
I mean,
Like,
I
are
can
they
say
just pushing out the robots?
when you say workers, do you mean like people that are going like I might be getting too in the weeds with this, but are you talking like people like that go like straight from school to like going and like working like full time job or
No,
like
not necessarily, because honestly, that's better for you than going to college as far as financially. Because
hey,
look, here's the thing: you can either start work and make 50 grand by the time you got 4 years, or you can owe 50 grand in 4 years. So I'm not talking shit on
hey,
that. I'm just
I'm,
saying, as far as like, they're not pushing kids out. Nowadays it's different, but it's all kids on the internet getting this shit. But I'm saying, as far as school goes, they don't tell you to go out and like get it on your own. You know what
yeah.
I mean? They tell you to rely.
They want you to go to this school, like, hey, this community college, I don't think
You need this certificate in
yeah,
order to.
yeah,
You need this
absolutely,
piece of paper in order to fucking
yeah,
get higher up in society. And it's like, in reality, there's not much value in that piece of paper. And what you obtained for that piece of paper, it's like, what did I really get from this? You know what I mean?
yeah. And it's crazy. Like some people just spend like 4 years studying something that like doesn't have like a big job market, and it's like what are you gonna do when you have to get a job and you're not in your parents' life insurance anymore and they're kicking you out. I was one of those kids that straight out of high school I just went to work.
Right.
I started helping my dad out in the shop, and I always went to like vocational school, so I became I always had like welding and automotive in my back pocket. So
Yeah, I saw one picture of you welding on Instagram.
yeah,
So I was gonna bring that up.
yeah,
And
I
ask if you were a
used to make
welder.
signs. Yeah, I
Okay,
used to make
cool.
signs for a company called Gable Signs in Pasadena. I worked there for like 7-8 years, straight out of high school for the most part, and up until
Is
last
that on
year.
kind of the easier end of welding work? Would you say?
Yeah, it's working with aluminum, so I feel like when I came from, like before started working there, I was welding like mild structural steel, so like thinner like 3/16 1/4 inch steel angles and plates and stuff, stuff that you aren't gonna blow a hole through. But when I started getting into sign making, it's kind of like an art, and like
Well, all welding is, man.
yeah, and like science in particular, it is so meticulous, and like I learned so much and got to work on some really cool shit. Like every single Starbucks sign you see is like pretty much made in Pasadena. And,
Oh
like,
shit. Okay.
I like the one up here in Westminster specifically. I remember going and delivering that sign. So
Is this a big company?
they're a pretty decently big company.
Are
They've
they
been
kinda-
around since the '80s.
Are they always hiring? Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, nah, cause like I have a friend who, I don't know if he's particularly looking for work, but we were all at the tech center. Me and his brother did electrical,
Mhm.
and he did welding. And I know he might be like trying to consider a welding job, so I might have to tell him like, hey, there's a
Yeah,
place up in Pasadena.
yeah,
that
they're
makes
always
signs, bro."
hiring. I think they need people now, and I got to work on some cool projects. So they always got some cool stuff going in and out of there. My last
Nice.
cool project I got to work on was a new Domino sugar sign. So
Oh, okay.
It's always something cool to look at, and always be like, yeah, I made that.
Hell yeah, definitely, man. Because when I did electrical work, like I did electrical work kind of around the area
Mhm.
on that. I think it's Stonegate or some shit like that up near where the Coca-Cola factory is in Westminster.
Mhm.
That whole like newer complex. Like I've done houses up in
Yeah.
there and up in Tawny Town and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
very like any trade people can say like. When you work on a house, when you work on a project,
Mhm.
it's cool to be able to drive up to places and been like, oh, I
Absolutely,
put the
yeah.
sign there. I did
I'm
the
annoying
electrical in
in a
that
car
house.
ride. You can ask anybody that's ever been a fan of me. Hey, I made that. I made that.
Hey,
I made
yo,
that.
fuck
Hey,
it.
stop! Pull over the car real quick. I look at the sign I made. It's always been like that. Well, since I got out of high school, but now I do like production planning type stuff. Work behind a computer mostly.
I gotcha. I'll be honest, like when it comes to that, like I can only remember a couple particular houses now. Dude, I was not good with that, like honestly, cause like my boss would sometimes ask me like, did you work on lot blah 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 blah? And I was like, I don't know, bruh. Like which house was that?
Yeah.
Like, cause we were, dude, it's like a different house every other day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did not remember every single lot number we were at. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so NGC, police state, not a free state. That was a line that repeated a couple times.
Yeah, I think Mike started writing this around the time the whole police brutality, George Floyd type thing, and the lyrics. I feel like the lyrics speak very true in that song, about definitely what has always happened, with like, just bad cops, and I think he was pretty right on the money with the song.
Definitely. And morals still untrue as they're sworn into blue. They want your eyes closed, try to enforce their code. So talk about those last lines. They want your eyes closed, try to enforce their code.
They want you to fucking, turn a blind eye to what they're doing, and, just think it's okay. I feel like, um, in the town I live in, it's a lot of cops, a lot of cop families, and, back then when all that shit was going off, like, I literally, like, had, like, no aligning views with, like, anybody, like, that I, like, grew up with, and, I had friends that had, like, cops as parents, that is what it is, but they're retired now or whatever, thankfully, we can talk shit if we want, but I'm not going to. Just kidding. Um but I feel like, especially probably when he was writing these lyrics, I feel like at the time that he was, seeing like, all these different people taking a side, and like not the good side, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People want to make all these things like, they want to go to this whole like Blue Lives Matter thing just because it doesn't, it like totally goes against, what is
Yeah.
probably, the best narrative, or the best solution, you know what I mean? Again, I he wrote all the lyrics, so I feel like if you brought him on here, he'd be able to answer these questions a little bit more.
I just figured like getting your input would kind of give more idea
Yeah.
just about what it's about, and like I said, we get into whatever, so I definitely wanted to get your take on some of these kind of conspiracy like topics, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, man. It's like it's not even really a conspiracy, but
Yeah.
like the people who believe everything that they see on the TV, all that shit, people that are like super trust the government, like they think that just questioning is a conspiracy.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's
Yeah.
like people don't
Haven't even having a thought that isn't of the same realm as somebody else,
some people like
Damn.
can't even comprehend like someone who has a different political view than them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And when you really like step out of that circle and kind of like if you don't align yourself to either side and you just like watch from above, you're like, wow, this shit's really fucked.
Yeah, and that's what
Like,
that's what these people
what are
in
these
power
idiots
want.
doing?
And that's what those people in power want. They want us fighting each other.
Yeah,
They
because
want us fighting us killing each other, that's
if
all
we're
they want.
fighting each other, we're not thinking about what they're doing.
Exactly. And look how much shit what they can do behind our backs while the news is covering something where we're going, and going against ourselves. You know what I mean?
That's why they want you to eat junk food. That's why they want you to fucking just
Straight up, man.
stay in front of the TV. Look, I love video games. I still get on every now and then, but like they want your ass planted in front of that TV. They don't want you going outside. They don't want you fucking having different opinions and
so
shit.
many streaming services and so many fucking, there's just a niche for everything now,
And then like if you start to get into this kind of thinking and then you really like pay attention, like they fucking call you out for it too. Like they mock you with the televisions that they fucking show you.
Yeah.
Like in these TV shows, they're basically showing
laughing at you.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy.
They're laughing at you, and it's crazy. Like these other countries are probably laughing at us. At
Oh, definitely.
The fucking circus that goes on over here.
Yeah, and it's like it's simple shit too. Like you like just try to stop eating processed shit, and then like that alone will make you realize like fucking A.
Yeah.
And it's hard, dude. Fucking they got me. They got me.
Shit's a drug, man. I'm right there with you. I love candy.
I fiend for fucking Doritos every day, son.
I stopped eating chips a long time ago. It's probably a good thing.
Oh my god.
I just can't stop eating candy, man. That's what they got me hooked on.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. Soda too, man.
Yeah.
Soda's terrible for you.
Sugar's a drug, man, and
it's the processed sugar though, man. Like cane sugar, like that shit's not terrible for you, but like
fruits and stuff all day long, but you know.
That high fructose shit and all the shit they put in the fucking products that you can't pronounce. Like, look at the shit that you put on your
skin. Go look at a box of Gushers. It literally says made with bioengineered ingredients.
Yo, that's fucking funny.
Done eating them, dude. Done. Don't,
No, the ingredients on candy is crazy.
Yeah, and it's so damn good.
Yeah, dude, that's like you don't even care. Like little Debbie's and shit. Like it doesn't.
I don't
even
eat
matter.
those anymore, man. When I was younger, I want to fuck little Debbie, bro.
Fucking eat 3-4 at a time, man.
Yeah.
No, that's been on my kick lately, though, man. I've been trying to kick all that on.
Yeah, dude,
shit,
it's the same thing, man. Lately, the past couple years, or specifically in like the past year, I've been really like trying to look at my health and. Shout out to my girlfriend, she's been getting me back into the gym and like, she tries to get me to eat healthy and, I'm trying my best, but I fucking love like cookies, and gummy worms, man. Like, cookies, brownies, and gummy worms. You could just give that to me.
I fucked up so many pastries in the last couple days.
And you know what? It's that time of the season. The statistics are always right. Around the holidays, this is when everybody gets fucking fat.
Oh, yeah.
And these companies are just... Go to the store right now. Go and look what Hershey's got. They got
Black Friday too. It's kind of on that topic of like, they just want you to consume shit. Black Friday is a perfect example. I went to Target for casual shopping on Black Friday just to kind of witness shit. And I was like, God damn, all these fucking people are like fucking. They're like little pack rats on all this shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's crazy. And then when you really look at the shit, like they ain't even marking it down, really.
Yeah, it'll be like, it'll be like some is normally like $199. It'll be like $189. Holy shit!
$189.99.
Yeah, holy shit!
Oh my god, bro. All right. Going back to Drawn by Blood recordings.
Mm-hmm.
When and why did you get into like the recording side independently?
Honestly, all right. So I think it really kind of like started off as like an inside joke between my old roommate Danny and I. We would always just like fuck around and just make like the stupidest music possible. Like, again, so many demos and like songs are sitting on this computer at home from just us goofing off over the years, and just we would put this stuff out, and I'd just be like, Drawn by Blood recordings would sound pretty sick. So I mean, I guess it became. I mean. It's a location on Instagram, I guess. You can like look it up or whatever. It's just I don't know. It's literally just a jam spot, man. It's cool to have, and I would like to like get a little bit more professional with it, and like kind of like seeing like some stuff like nice mics like this. I'd like to have a nice studio mic like this. Like,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazon.
Man. Yeah, yeah. most of my studio, all the stuff is like from Amazon or like Atomic Music. So
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to get into this kind of shit, really just like there's so many YouTube videos that tell you like what kind of shit you need,
yeah,
and usually you don't need like anything super crazy.
for
It
sure.
depends what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not entirely too sure. Like when like I started the whole Drawn by Blood thing, Drawn by Blood recordings. Jake and I used to we we wanted to go somewhere with it, but I think there's literally only 2 episodes. The Drawn by Blood cast. It was just Jake and I just dicking around. Casey would I think Casey might have produced both episodes, but it was a good time. The last episode we had my boy Dre, who runs Purple Waves Club. We had him on there, and it was a good time. Maybe I can like remaster the audio or something and re-upload them. Maybe one day we can bring it back.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like on an old. I'm pretty sure I did all that stuff on Audacity on an old computer my roommate had laying around. But like that's always been the thing with me is just like doing it myself. I've always liked the little do-it-yourself attitude. Like
I agree, man.
why should I go pay a bunch of money when I can do it with like something I got sitting around lying around the house?
Yeah, so my buddies, their dad has a studio with his band, and my mom has brought up like for my more like when I get like Trey Chaney and stuff like that on, or when I was considering on upgrading, she was mentioning like why don't you just maybe rent out the studio sometimes? And I was like, see, for what it costs to go to these places like a couple times, like over time, like you'll fucking have paid for your equipment like 3 times over.
Yeah,
It's
for
like
sure.
I'd much rather like build it up from the ground up.
For sure, man.
Because like here's the thing. If I take this to a level where I go to some like other facility for a studio upgrade, then it's like I already got equipment.
Yeah.
It's not like I used someone else's equipment or rented equipment. It's like I'd rather just buy it and then it's mine.
Yeah.
I love yeah, man.
I've always had that attitude too, and like there's so much stuff I want, and I still want to get like. I was looking at amps this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, I want to go drive to Henrico, Virginia, and go pick up this amp right now. But it's the holidays, and I got to buy gifts for other people.
Yeah.
Hopefully, work comes through with that Christmas bonus.
Tax
We'll
time's
see.
almost.
Yeah,
that's gonna help for sure, dude.
I would like to make some more upgrades in the studio. I was gonna wait until later, but Scrutinize is working on some new stuff right now, and we're gonna be going to the studio in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Same place we recorded our last EP. We did like some demoing at my house for the new stuff, and like it's great quality, and like I would love, as much as I'd love to go out and like get it mastered or mixed by somebody else, I definitely want to go to the studio that we worked at before, who we got great chemistry with the engineer. Shout out
about
Sebastian.
Hotbox Audio and Dundalk.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had a note about that. Right? Was it a hotboxed session at all?
Oh yeah, the entire time. Yeah. Shout out Sebastian. Great guy. His band's Noisem, Exhumed. They all fucking rip. And anything he's done production wise, it sounds killer. And I like. I'm shamelessly plugging Hotbox
talking
recording
about
facility
the
right now.
Snake project, right?
Yeah, the Snake EP. Yeah, I know we're talking about the demo right now, but like.
Oh, that was that. We were done talking about the.
Oh,
demo.
okay, yeah. I think NGC is the last song on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like to wrap up everything with like doing that demo, it was definitely cool, and it's something like, I think that was like the second recording that and it's not just me working on it. It's my old roommate Danny too. We still work together. We don't live together anymore, but he's still my best friend, and he's a stone throw away, and we still work with each other on music. As a matter of fact, he's mixing those same Scrutinized tracks I was talking about right now, just to like practice them out, and he's the one that did Don't Start None shit too.
Nice.
Like, I'm plugging him up real quick. Great guy. Shout out Dan. Just became a dad recently. But yeah, that's that. Yeah, fuck yeah, the sound or the stream deck. Sorry, right? That's
yeah.
The
So
stream
like,
deck.
my brother and his friend, they're into sports betting, right? So
Yeah.
I help them do their sports betting podcast where they basically just go over their NFL picks for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot to shout them out earlier. If you're listening, go check that out. We release an episode. Well, it's like we release like usually 2 parts every week around Friday.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday. Yeah, I'll show you some of these sounds, right? So fucking this is kind of an inside joke.
That
but,
does not make sense.
It's the Chewbacca defense from South Park.
Day.
Fucking.
Today, Junior.
Classic.
Yeah, fucking.
Shut up! Shut your goddamn mouth!
Love
Yeah,
South
my
Park.
brother picked most of these out.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!
A lot of South
Yeah.
Park ones.
Dude, samples are the best, man. And that's another thing with Scrutinize and like any other band I've been into. Samples have always been like the coolest thing, and I still think they are the coolest thing.
Yeah, for the since we're talking about Snake now, I noticed on Instagram you had a promo video, and it was you have to tell me what it's from. He was like, "You want the good stuff? It comes from Maryland." We were trying to
It's an Al Pacino movie, and I literally do not know what movie it is right now. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Mike is probably like sitting like listening to this, probably like it's fucking this movie, but he's actually the one that found like that whole intro and everything, and like it just so happened like the sample and like the promo video lined up like
Oh yeah,
very
no,
well.
I love
Yeah.
stuff like that. Man.
Shout out Xavier.
I love pointing
putting
out
that
the
together.
samples and stuff like that. Like on Jake's episode, like I brought up like all the samples on the B12 demo.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah.
the fucking
Yeah,
one
that was-
POP, hold it down.
Yeah, I was literally thinking about that not that long ago because like I thought that was one of the funniest samples, and I'm so glad.
It's so
like,
hard though.
like,
That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be out here on the streets. You dig? I was wondering if like a lot of people would pick up and realize what that was from. Often when you hear samples, they don't use that's a pretty popular video, but I
Right.
don't think anybody recognizes that sound clip from
I
it. You know
didn't
what I mean?
I didn't remember her saying that, but I was like, I swear to God,
Donna
that sounds
Goodo.
like the lady going POP, hold it down.
I
So
wonder if she's out of jail yet.
we might have to do an update on that.
Yeah, get her on the podcast.
Oh my God, that would be legendary. So the album art was done by John Mayo.
Yeah.
So what was the process from getting the design from him?
I know Sean came up with like the initial like where he wanted to go with the art direction.
Okay.
He sent it to him. He sent us a couple rough drafts, and I actually like thinking back. He actually like got it done and sent it to us in like a good amount of time. And now he's a busy dude. Like I feel
know.
like every band is getting something done by him.
Dude, I swear to
And
God.
I think for the first time ever, I went to his Instagram and it said like commissions closed, and I was like, damn, like this man was always cranking out work. At least once a day, I was seeing something. But shout out Mayo, dude. He makes incredible designs. I would love to get some like more merch done by him.
Yeah,
or
man.
like
So I have like the Deep Rest shirts that he did.
Yeah, those
upstairs
were
and
sick,
Stuff
yeah.
like that, and I messaged him for an interview. I would love to get him on at some
Yeah,
point.
fuck
And
yeah.
also, I would love to get some shit done by him too, because I was bringing up earlier, right? I want to get a Harbor Discussion shirt. Basically, I want like fucking some depiction of like the Baltimore Harbor. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Some kind of like grotesque, like spooky
Yeah,
fucking like
yeah, fuck
waters
yeah,
type shit.
yeah.
Like my dad even mentioned like we could even put like a fucking like harbor monster in that bitch. But because that's where the name Harbor Discussions come from. It's
Yeah.
basically harbor is referencing the Baltimore Harbor.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to get someone's opinion on this. I also wanted to put like hardcore affiliate or some shit on the back too.
Yeah.
I was thinking I could even sell those, like, just aside,
Like,
from,
yeah,
the,
like
aside from the podcast, like,
Yeah.
fucking people that are into hardcore could just fucking have a shirt that
Yeah,
says,
that'd
like,
be sick.
hardcore
Yeah,
affiliate, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, the whole like podcast and hardcore thing has really been working out lately, especially for like I know we were talking about it earlier, but like I'm always listening to podcasts and like especially like music related ones, like something like my friends can go on something like this or like the From Within podcast. The This Is Hardcore podcast is a really good one. It's people go in there and they get me through my workday because it's just talking about shit like that I like and I can relate to, and I feel like the more hardcore podcasts there are, the more like people will stop having rough work days and like they'll get the work done faster because like that's the shit that gets me through my workday, man.
So, yeah, let me talk about this, right? So, I was telling you earlier, right, my work's cracking down on, like, headphones and
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
fucked
that.
up, man.
Now, it's like, when they start to talk about, like, the safety of it, it's like, you see where they're coming from, But at the same time, like, it's totally and utterly ridiculous, right?
Right.
So, like, fucking, I doubt my boss is listening. Fucking, so when COVID started, or when it was still going on, for masks, I would wear like a straight up balaclava.
Yeah.
So like my ears were totally covered, and I could just pop my AirPods in. No fucking
no one ever
issue, yo.
know.
Literally, this lady, Miss Doris, still calls me Skittles because it's a Supreme Skittles like ski mask.
Oh, word, yeah.
So I would like wear that bitch around. Like fucking people like didn't even know what I looked like and shit. When I stopped wearing the fucking mask, like
Does that
people
guy
were
even
like-
work here?
Yeah, I swear to God, a
Right.
couple people were like that.
Let me see your badge, man.
Yeah, man. People were like fucking like Skittles? Fucking I was like, what? Like it was crazy. Like I didn't think that many people were gonna come up to me about it, but it was insane.
Yeah.
Or like no, it was when I first stopped wearing my hood down, because like that's the thing. When the masks got, it would have been weird if after the mask mandate got lifted, if I was like still wearing a balaclava.
Yeah, and they'd
not-
probably be thinking you're plotting on doing something.
Yeah, right. Fucking. So I was like, all right, I'll just have my hood up all the time and have one in, and that worked. And then one day I had fucking this new guy in training to be a fucking supervisor. He fucking snitched on me.
Oh, man.
Yeah, what happened was, right, and what's fucking bullshit about that is I was doing the one job, like one of the top jobs where it would be of no risk to me. So like downstairs, there's a lot of driving activity. There's people on fucking like Taylor Duns and fucking forklifts and shit like that. So like I get why they don't want people wearing headphones, because there is a lot of action.
Yeah.
So I get it when I'm downstairs. But I was literally upstairs where there's no one driving a
heavy
vehicle.
equipment.
No, none of that shit. And I'm literally in a lane where boxes come to me and all I do is put fucking bubble wrap in. I stand in one spot all day. So like no risk to anybody, right? And he's like, you got something in your ear? And I was like, yeah, yo. And he's like, I need you to take it out. It's a safety risk. I was like, okay, cool. And I thought that would be the end of it. And then I get called into my fucking like supervisor's office. So like low key, I don't like that guy. He's a nice dude, but like I don't like you, bro.
Yeah.
Fucking. And what's crazy is like he was getting trained to be like a group leader, and like now he's like supervisor. Like it's crazy. I was talking to someone. I was like, yo, he must have fucking snitched on a lot of people,
Yeah,
bro.
to get all the way to the top.
That's crazy. But nah, man, like, and now, right, they figured out that people with hoods usually have a headphone. So now they told us you cannot have a hood up. And what they say is,
Yeah.
right, if they're not honest, and they don't say it's because of headphones. They go, it blocks your peripheral view. I'm like, yo, that's what pisses me off. I'm like, yo, tell me it's because you fucking can't. Because you know damn well you can't tell me to pull it down because of a headphone. Like, you just gonna
Do
tell
they have
me.
like signs and shit, or like around saying like no
Nah,
headphones?
but like if you even have your hood up now, they'll tell you like put your hood down. So like I pretty much have to be upstairs with enough work where I can go in a corner and like listen to some shit. But like I'm in agreement with you, man. That shit kept me through my work day for so long, and like, dude, like I never got hit. I never got in any sort of fucking like safety incidents, man. Like in fact, I was probably I'm one of the most courteous people at that place.
Yeah.
Cause like a lot of times you have to put shit up with a stacker into a fucking like mezzanine,
Yeah.
and there's forklift drivers and people that have to walk past you. So they can't go until you fucking like have your forks in and you can wave them past. So many people will just fucking like push it back and wait for it to come down and then wave you. Like if I start to put my shit up and then someone's coming, I put it back down. I'm like, yo, come on. You know what I mean? So it's like, yo, I'm never an issue to anybody. Don't tell me I can't fucking work.
Yeah. If anything, I work better with my headphones on.
Guaranteed, man. And like
More focused.
and I can hear everything too. And like the thing is, like they think you have to be on your phone all the time. Like all I had to do was fucking tap my shit twice and it would pause. So like I see my group leader coming, I'd fucking just like not because they usually need to tell you something. I'd be like, all right, and then And the only time I couldn't hear the overhead thing is like you wouldn't be able to hear it anyway. Fucking, you're in the way back of some of these aisles, man. There's like so many belts going, you can't hear shit anyways, man. It's just bullshit, man. Fucking like,
The man trying to get you down.
nah, dead ass. Cause like they play the same fucking pop music every fucking.
Oh
day.
yeah, just
That shit.
radio.
I hate Bon Jovi now. I don't like fucking.
Jack
I
FM probably.
Dude, I will never fucking pay to see Adele in my life.
Yeah.
Fucking all that. And that shit is like low key torture, man.
Yeah.
Like I swear to
Hearing
God.
the same songs all the time. Yeah, man. I'm right there with
It's
you.
depressing as fuck.
Yeah, I've worked in those same type of work environments where it's just the same radio station over and over again. You know.
Well, like, dude, I don't even think it's radio, dude. It's like a playlist that they have because it's the same songs every day. It's
dude. Radios like they literally have like one playlist. It's weird. Like 98 Rock, for instance.
And for the
no
pop-
diss to them, but like they literally been playing the same songs every day for the past 10 years. You know, let's mix it up a little bit.
So I worked at the mall and they played pop music all the time. I don't like that shit at all. Classic rock, of course. I like some classic rock. And when I first started this place, I was like, okay, this is at least nice. Now it's like
Driving you crazy.
Living on a Prayer comes on the radio, change it. Fucking a bunch of other stuff, change it. Fucking nah, dude. So I don't think there was any lyrics posted on Bandcamp for Snake, but I wanted to ask, does the subject matter follow the same sort of thing as the self-titled?
For the most part, the song Snake, I feel like is the old, the standard hardcore type lyrics. Not saying, it's corny or whatever, but like, just, regular old people, they're snakes, man. They'll stab you in the back if you're not looking. Trying to think of like, so I know for our cassettes, and I don't think I had any, and I wish I could have brought you one. We did do the lyrics inside that, and I feel like if I had them from me, we could go over them, but I feel like a lot of the subject matter was the same. Like songs like Absolute Control is definitely a song like with lyrics like that are on the demo talking about just the fucked up people that we have in power and like what they'll do to like control you. Songs like Counterfeit about fake people.
Right.
Yeah, I can't think of what the other songs meanings are, but
it's all good.
Mike, you had to come and be a future guest on this. I think I don't know if you've had anybody like from the BMX world, but like
not yet. No, it's all been like hardcore. I've had one. My friend Ben, he's in like a rock trio band. They do like covers and like sort of like Chili Peppers vibe kind of shit. And then I had Trey Chaney, actor, you know what I mean? So, like, I haven't gotten that far off. The hardcore community has been the most supportive of my channel so far, man. Most of my following is hardcore, so, like, I'm always gonna, like, initiate hardcore in my podcast some way, man.
Mike's been, like, huge into Brian BMX, like, his whole life, and it's still, like, his big thing. And same thing with Brandon plays drums. He's big into BMX too.
Well, I'd love to like start getting into the skate scene too. I want to get some of the guys from Embark Skate Shop in here.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah.
Even like Carpet would be cool.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Yeah.
They're getting really big, man.
Yeah.
Like Supreme fucking sells their shit.
I don't know how you're familiar with like Pure Board Shop, but that's like, I wouldn't say like my area's board shop, but like that's like the skate shop like that like is local to me and like all the people. Shout out to Sam. Incredible skaters. They got an incredible crew who works there. Awesome spot. And anywhere local Maryland business, whether it's like skateboarding, snowboarding, I'm in full support of. So
yeah, I got a lot of ideas for like definitely next year getting like I really want to diverse and like fucking get anybody on.
Yeah.
Right. There's this place I go to like up the road. Like they got fucking like infrared saunas, cryotherapy, all that shit.
Really?
I even thought about getting that lady to come on and just talk about all that shit.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like
broaden the horizons.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that's like what podcast is all about. Like, look at Joe Rogan.
Yeah, man.
He has comedians on, but the next week after, he can have some fucking scientists.
And we were talking about Adam 22 as well. Like, he totally diversifies as well.
Yeah, now it's like crazy. You'll have people from all over.
They're big inspirations because of that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure. I just watched the one they did with Jim Jones and Joel Santana the other day, and that
I
was a
haven't
really
seen
good
that one
Yeah.
yet, but I saw that they did that.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge one for them
I
too.
used to watch like some of the other No Jumper podcasts, like at the end of the day and Disconnected. I used to watch
I never
those.
really got into those. I know that like I see on the channel now that like they like pretty much combine them and
Right.
like what they've done with the channel and like that whole thing is crazy now.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
the
actually
whole setup is wild.
Yeah, so like Disconnected, I'm actually gonna try to like use that in a way to help boost the podcast because they do a thing called No Jumper Drip Check, and it's like a hashtag they use on Instagram, and like people basically like post their outfits, and then use that, and then they kind of like they roast a lot of people, but
Yeah.
also like if you got fire fit on, they'll fucking
Did they like go over it on like the channel like
Yeah,
look
yeah,
at this fool?
yeah. Basically, they do it live,
Yeah.
but I was like, I could use that shit and then put it in the fucking pictures. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure,
Because
yeah.
like, and in one of my interviews, I wore a pair of shoes that like one of the hosts made and shit like that, and I have a candle made by one of the other hosts. So like, I had the fucking candle lit in between the shoes. And like I did get the one dude commented like, yo, that shit's hard. Fucking but like
So-
I have yet to cause like basically I put it under there when they first came out, but so many people put it on their fucking pictures as it's on live stream that my shit never gets
Yeah.
up. So basically I have to be there for the live stream, and then when they say, all right, No Jumper Drip Check, I gotta fucking
Yeah,
like,
you gotta hurry up and fucking
and
yeah.
honestly, between work and shit, I'm never like up late enough to do
Yeah.
that shit. But
Because
yeah.
it's all West Coast shit. Yeah.
But nah, that's a wit. Like, it's crazy. Like, when you figure out how the algorithm works and shit. Like, hashtags are fucking like actually pretty like
Yeah,
helpful.
and
man.
it's weird the algorithm nowadays. Like, I know personally, I felt the effects. Like, even posting a show flyer, it's only getting like 5, 6 likes. Now you gotta have like a fucking video to even like get more than 10 likes on your personal Instagram. It's
Well, it's all about they want people like. What's crazy is they are boosting the people that keep people in the app the longest, and it's like another thing we were talking about as far as like fucking being controlled and shit like that. Like that algorithm wants you to
Controlling.
fucking just keep
Yes,
scrolling,
absolutely.
scrolling. And every time I catch myself in, I'm like, God damn it.
yeah,
That's one thing I've also tried to do is like reduce my screen time as far as shit like that. Like, I delete social media off my phone. Like, I try to keep it off my phone, but like shit with this, it's very hard. You know what I mean? Because I'm networking through it and stuff
yeah,
like
for
that.
absolutely.
So it's like I try to keep it just a business and shit like that. But
Yeah, I that's recently, like in the last like 4 or 5 years, like I really just don't have nothing to post. Like I've never really been like somebody that's been like, oh, here's my life.
you know, me neither, man. Like, before this podcast, I really like I posted like maybe a couple times a year, but like now I post the podcast and like fucking if I go to a show, I'll post like maybe
Yeah,
a
yeah,
show
same.
and like cigars now. Is
Yeah, I'll post
basically
pictures like on my story, like me and my girlfriend, or like
tattoos and
if
cigars.
like I'm somewhere different, like I'll post it on my story. But for the most part, I like social media and everything. Well, I wouldn't say I like social media, but it's all right.
It's great. It just is also terrible for you.
At the same time. Yeah, for sure.
It can be used as an efficient tool, but like it's fucking terrible for you.
Yeah,
It
terrible for
really
your
is.
brain. Yep.
Yeah, I feel great every time I don't get a lot of social media time. And
Yeah.
then it's like I usually go into it for a good purpose, and then I end up just totally like driven away from that.
Yeah, I think the hugest extent of like me making posts and like honestly the app's changed so much that I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah, right, man.
But like I'll make a tweet once in a while, or like maybe share something on Facebook. But for the most part, I'm just a casual viewer.
Guaranteed. I try to like.
I like looking at stuff.
I've been trying to clear out the pages I follow, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like I want my homepage to be like almost so dull that I don't even scroll for that long.
Yeah, same.
But what's crazy about Instagram, I fucking hate this feature. They have a feature where after you're done looking at all the new posts that your followers posted, it starts throwing in random videos.
Yup,
And that's
yeah.
how they get you to fucking
Yeah.
keep scrolling and shit like that. And you can turn it off, but it's only for 30 fucking days.
Yeah,
So it's like
Facebook drives me crazy. I literally I feel like I go and do the same shit every week. I feel like I turn off like that like feature that's like giving you telling you that this person liked this, or like
Oh my
five
god,
people
yeah.
are going to this event.
Notifications for Facebook are crazy, yo.
Yeah.
It'll be like some motherfucker you don't even follow. They're like, yo,
they
this
just posted
person.
this video. Like, who the fuck is this guy?
I fucking hate that shit,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, me too, man.
All right.
And like everything's got like this TikTok feature now too, like this whole like
God,
video
yo.
reels thing. Like
Yeah.
they got it on Twitter now too.
They all want to compete. That's why.
Yeah.
Because they know fucking everybody's on TikTok. I never got into that shit because like
I'm a casual TikTok viewer. You know, my girlfriend sends them to me, and she'll be like, "Hey, did you look at the TikToks I sent you?" I'll be like, "Ah." I only check them like twice, and it's like when I'm about to go to bed, or like if I got some like serious time to kill. But like I try to stay fucking busy, man. Like, you know.
yeah, have you seen like the video of Rogan going over like the fucking like security like terms and conditions for TikTok?
No.
That shit's crazy.
I listened to the Stavros episode. They were talking about like the algorithm or whatever, but I didn't
Uh-huh.
hear about the.
Oh, dude, the fucking the fucking security risk's crazy. Like, it's
That's a whole conspiracy rabbit hole even of itself, and you know, it's. I don't want to say they're trying to control us, but like, you know, you go on the app and it's got like goddamn like voice manipulator now, or it's got fucking, you know, the whole AI thing.
yeah, basically like you're giving your data to fucking
Yep.
TikTok. Whenever
Yeah.
you fucking accept, like your data is fucking
For sure.
basically on a phone.
Yeah.
In fucking
and
China.
Yep. Yeah. And that's how you end up with scrutinized lyrics, man.
Yeah.
You know, next release might have some lyrics about TikTok. You never know.
All right, so I wanted to go over a couple of the scrutinized shows. Now, the first scrutinized shows was actually the very last B12 show over
Yep.
at the Henny Max Inn. So, kind of talk about what that was like.
So at the time, when we were putting the last B12 shows together, Scrutinize is still not playing a show yet, and like, you know, shows have just came back, and I was just like, you know what, fuck this. Nobody wants to book us. I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
And so I did it. You know,
Getting shit done over here.
the first two bands to open that show were both, you know, those bands' first shows. So
Yeah,
it
Lay
was-
Waste.
Yeah, awesome band. They killed it. But it was great. I can't I don't even remember what songs we played. I don't know if we even had any songs from our new EP like finished yet, but like actually I think we might play like one song, but it was just awesome finally, you know, like playing somewhere that wasn't my house.
Right.
And it was a good time. And I think it was like one of the only shows I've ever played where I've had to do double duty, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I had a question about like doing double duty. How hard is it when you have to play like for multiple bands in one night?
I mean, for the most part, well, now I think about it, recently at the Don't Start None demo release show that we did, Scrutinize Alls it played, so as long as it all's the same gear, I use all the same gear for, you know, the same stuff. A couple bands have different tunings here and there. But for the most part, it's, you know, it's just trying to remember the songs when I get
Gotcha.
there.
You gotta like go back and forth between bands, like trying to practice.
Sometimes, for the most part, me and Jake, and like, I guess it's part of the inside joke, like the running joke that is Don't Start None. We'll like look at each other like for how this one go, and I'll be like. I'll like even when we're on stage, I'll like start playing the riff. I'll be like, oh yeah. It's just, you know, it's that burnout mentality, I guess.
Yeah. So I just kind of like noticed you played with like Secret Society a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, just kind of talk about like what's some of your favorite gigs so far when you. played
Was
with
Scrutinized. The shows with Secret Society have been badass. The one show we played at the Pie Shop, that was awesome. I really want to do that one again. That venue is sick. Shout out Justin Anthony. He put that together. What another good show. Long Island. We played Long Island back in like, I want to say, was that May maybe? We went and played Long Island. That was awesome. Finally getting to take my new band out there and play and
Hell yeah.
in front of some old friends and stuff. The shows with like Ballista and Gates to Hell that we played at Frijoles. Those have been those have been fun. We always gotten a good reaction. Those another show that like There was never a flyer on it because we literally got asked a day of. We got to play with Shackled at Auto Bar back
Oh,
in the
nice.
summer.
Hell yeah.
Literally, like, it was a Sunday night. Mike called me. He's like, "Yo, you want to play a show tonight?" And I was like, "Where?" He's like, "At the Auto Bar." And one band dropped. And I was like, "Dude, let's do it." So
Hell yeah. I didn't know this until like maybe yesterday or the day before, but they were on like the fucking top 10 Rolling Stone venues in America.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
It's
whoa.
a legendary place, man. It's even like now, even when I was growing up getting into bands, I would always see like somebody in a band wearing an Auto Bar shirt.
Right.
And still today, people still wear Auto Bar shirts, and it's like, that place is a that's a world famous venue, and like,
I'll
I'm
be
glad
honest,
it's
I
still
went
around.
to my first show there not too long ago
Yeah.
for Deep Rest show, and I really liked it. I liked, yeah.
Cool.
I liked that it was like kind of on the outskirts almost, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like, it's nice to go to the city for shows, but like not really when you got to drive in the inner
Yeah.
city and shit like
I
that.
love going to shows at Auto Bar. My friend Nick.
Surprisingly easy to get to and park and shit. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
got
this
friends
is the
that live
move.
right around the corner. I can go
Oh,
park
that-
there.
That's the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Yup. Yeah. Shout out Auto Bar. Good spot.
definitely.
Then we didn't get to play like the downstairs on the stage, which I like have never been able to play, which I still is like a small goal of mine. But like just playing upstairs and even playing the venue in general was just badass and cool. And it was so cool that it all happened last minute.
Yeah, what other venues would you like to play at? What bands would you like to play with? Or is there any like festivals that you'd like to play?
I would love to play like all the festivals. Like, we're always joking around like, yo, it'd be so cool to play like FYA or like, This Is Hardcore, or even like open up like one of the smaller local ones, like
Right.
Holiday Jam that's happening this weekend. That'd be cool. It's cool to see like bands like, that we've been coming up with, like Fool's Game doing that, and it's cool seeing them, we've been on the same labels and stuff as them and done a lot of shows with them. It's cool seeing them, being that band now.
Hell yeah.
And it's definitely, putting a spark in us and like wanting us to, work on more music and do more shows. So I'm like,
Maryland is on the come up.
it for sure is. And, there's the venues we do have. We need to try to keep them and keep the owners like happy and like no fucking bullshit. Because
Yeah.
like, what we have going on right now works. And it's, it might not be as good as it once was, but we can definitely get it up to a level. We got friends that are getting older and, working hard to either like get a venue or try to open one. It's always been like a dream of mine to do something like that.
Absolutely. I don't know if I've said this before, but like, man, I swear, if I make money with this shit, I will fucking open
I
up
feel like
a
I've heard you
venue in
mention something about that
Westminster,
before.
yeah.
And look, man, like that's so sick, and like that's a dope ass goal, and it's definitely a goal of mine to have too. Would just love to have something.
And guess what? If
in
it
my
doesn't work
hometown.
out, I just gut it out and do something
Yeah,
else.
turn into a fucking storefront or something.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
I would just love to have a space like that. And where I live, there's venues and stuff that I could have shows at, but the clientele there and the type of people probably would not like it.
And it's also because it's not exclusively for hardcore and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's pretty
and-
much what this place would be for sure.
And the places I have done shows at, it's taken some convincing to like actually get it done because
And then there was the Birdies Cafe show.
Oh man,
We've talked about
I was
it
hoping
on
we were
like-
going to talk about that because I think that might have been like, I think that's where I met you for the first time.
Yeah.
And like I think about that show all the time. Like Jake lives around the area, and I was like walking by like, where the hell's Burry's at? I know it's around here somewhere, but
Yeah, that was my first time in there, man. It's always funny.
That was a
fucking
good show,
talking
man.
about
That was a good
show.
time.
Oh, hell yeah, man.
I have a couple videos on my phone from that. There's this one video on my Snapchat that I have. Maybe I could send it to you. You could like clip it in. Jake was moshing and he just pushed this kid down, like while I think Butcher's Hill was playing, and he's just like moshing around. And he just pushes this kid down. It was so funny. There's videos on YouTube of it too, and back when we used to switch off songs, I remember Jake was on vocals. He got on the mic and he was like, "Yo, I'm going to Sheets after this, and I'm getting a sub." Classic Jake, and just good times, man. That show, I wish I could repeat that show. It was a lot of fun. It was definitely one of those shows that's kind of like a fever dream type deal, but it was a lot of fun. I've been to so many shows like that. It's It definitely big fever dream vibes.
Yeah, dude, that'd be funny. Fucking, that's got to be like a subtle reference on the Harbor Discussions merch.
Yeah,
Like somewhere there's
Weekend
gonna
of
be
birdies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
fuck
fucking-
yeah. Get like a little mini flyer and put it in there somewhere. Detail, yeah.
Yo, what's funny? Like, we could have like a fucking post, like, have the harbor, and then have like a light post, and then on the light post,
The
there's
flyer,
gonna be a
yeah.
Weekend at Birdie's flyer. Yeah, that's fucking.
Dude, I would
funny.
love that. Dude,
That's fucking funny.
let's do one more show there, man. Come on. Harbor Discussions presents Scrutinize Live at Birdie's.
I could settle the thing. All right, I can make.
Let's do it, man.
everything will be all right.
Live podcast and gig at Birdie's.
I can get their. I can get their whole side of the story.
Yeah, we can do one of the spot interviews. Like, why are you guys not doing shows here anymore?
What happened?
Yeah, what
Who
exactly?
said what?
Yeah.
No, we know what was said. Unfortunately, people are funny.
Yeah.
Fucking all right. So I wanted to bring up a couple things I saw on the Scrutinize Instagram. You guys sold some of your records at the Philly Hardcore Merch and Record Swaps. So that seemed like something pretty cool. Talk about that.
I think I was.
Yeah, sure.
Oh shit! I didn't know if we were gonna get like demonetized, kicked off the web.
Nah, we're like an hour 45 in.
All right,
So so what's funny is about that, like.
Yeah, you can only do it at like a certain amount of time. Like
Yeah,
it's like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, if you cuss like in the first 10 minutes, they'll like take.
Yeah, I've heard
your
some.
shit
I've
out.
heard Adam say something about that before on the pod. Like you can't be doing that in the first 10 minutes, man. Come on.
See, like the thing is, like I can't be getting all like pressed about shit like that. It's fucking so early on.
Check
Like
out the bag. You gotta have your
the
fast card.
coronavirus.
You gotta have your fast card to hit that.
That's fucking funny. You need 2 cards for this, bud.
That's right.
So yeah, the hardcore merch and record swap.
Yeah. I think that was during COVID, and
Keep talking.
oh shit. I think that was during COVID, and we just had the tapes made, or no, we did the CDs. That's what they were. We had the demo CDs, and we took them.
Doing things proper over here.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how many CDs we had. I think we had 50.
Okay.
But we took them, and I don't even remember if we even sold them. I think we just handed them out. Sean, I think he had like a merch table going on because he was like selling merch or whatever, and he was just giving out the tapes for free. Or no, actually, I do remember now. I think bands were selling merch, and we had our stuff with like the Shackle guys.
Okay.
And we're just giving out the demos for free, and it was a good time. I got some cool shirts, and I think I got a couple records too, and like my friends I went with, they all got stuff. It was a good time. Like I wish there was more of that, honestly. Like I think I've been to like 2 or 3 of them up in Philly.
I got you. I was gonna ask.
There's definitely some cool stuff you can come across
Is there any of these kind of events in the Maryland area that
They have them at Auto Bar.
Oh, cool. All right.
I don't know exactly. Like I think it's like in like the probably like the warmer type of months, but they definitely have like a punk rock flea market type
I
thing.
think I've seen those advertised before. And then the Philly Hardcore Unity Barbecue.
That was awesome. Shout out Bob for putting that together and letting us play. It was cool just playing like with all those bands, like all the bands that played, they're all like doing big things. And that's always been the thing about the barbecue is like I think Bob hand selects the bands like, all right, these bands are really good and they can only play the barbecue one time. So getting to play last year was like a huge deal, and Hey 5-6 got to record it.
Hell yeah. Perfect segue.
Yeah, fucking I love Sonny.
Yeah, so I always bring this up if any of my guests have ever been on his channel, which you have with Butcher's Dozen and Scrutinize. So just talk about getting filmed by him.
Morbidity.
Oh,
Filling
hell
in
yeah.
for Morbidity. Mm-hmm.
Nice. So like if you're in a hardcore band, is this like a badge of honor almost? to do?
Honestly, I would say yes. I do think it's a big deal. Just like being able to just have that, just sitting on YouTube, just being like, you know, I can send it to my mom or my grandma, like, hey, look at this. Look what I did, or like, you know, years from now.
That
just
shit's
like,
a resume fucking
like,
reference.
Just thinking about a show and be like, yo, there's definitely a video of that show, and I can go look
and
it
a
up.
good one.
Yeah, absolutely. And
We always give love to Sonny on
Yeah,
this channel, man.
dude,
it ain't a
nothing but love
hardcore
to that guy,
podcast
man.
if we ain't mentioning Sonny.
yeah, fucking, he is the fucking man. And I'm so like, it's so cool to see what he's doing and like where he started and like seeing
He's getting
how-
really
how-
big
how he's
bands
going.
now too.
And it's And I'm gonna be real with you on the record. I've definitely lived like a cool life. I feel like if I had to think back, like
Your life is what you make
yeah,
it,
I've
folks.
always liked music, and I never thought like growing up I'd be like this involved in music. Still, like I always thought I was gonna be like playing music and everything, but nothing like this. Like
I feel you,
back when
man.
I first was a kid, and I never thought me going into a room with a bunch of fucking 30-year-old dudes with felonies beating the shit out of each other. I didn't think at the time that I'd be doing it forever, but like, I still go to shows, I still book shows, still play shows, I'm still about it, like, love talking about it, I just love doing it.
I feel you, man. That's kind of how I am with this. Even though I'm really in like the fucking conception of this podcast, man, just looking back on what I've done in the past like half year, man, it makes me happy.
Mhm.
Like thinking about the conversations I've had and like, I don't know if Trey listens to these, but like getting the opportunity to meet Trey Cheney and have him come to my house and stuff
Yeah.
like that, fucking take pictures with my dad, fucking
Same thing
hug
with
my
hardcore, man.
grandmother. You know what I mean? And it's like
I can
to
say
know
the
that
same
I've
thing with music.
actually like had an idea and not only done it, but like done it to a good enough level. You know what I mean? Where I've built the
I've definitely done some self-reflecting like that lately.
and everybody
thinking about-
should. Everybody should. And
Yeah.
it's like I did some
Even
traveling.
if you haven't never done a lot, just think back on the little stuff, man, and what you've done and what you come across.
Hell
It
yeah.
might not be big to somebody else, but it could be big to you, and it's all about working harder to get to that next place.
Yeah, Trey Cheney's got like excellent motivation, and like one of his things is like gratitude is my attitude. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
really got to think back and like think about what you do have. And like, dude, I went to Vegas. I was supposed to go to When We Were Young, but I had the one day that got canceled.
Yeah. I was
So
listening to that podcast. I was saying, man, it sucks.
yeah, dude, fucking, and then the fucking next day, I totally fucking forget where I was going with that. Jeez, no, but no, not the next day. Fucking, so I went to Vegas for like about a week, and then I went to Denver for like a month,
Yeah.
right? So like thinking about that, traveling, it was my first time really like traveling on my own and shit, and I was
Yeah.
like that on top of the podcast and shit like that. I was like, damn, I'm really happy with what I've done this
Yeah.
year, and like, dude, I'm setting next year up for fucking we gonna take things over, man.
Yeah. I'm excited to
Same
see
with
it.
y'all, man.
Yeah,
Music and shit. Like I'm telling you, Maryland's coming up.
Yeah, I'm excited to get these next promo tracks out. We're gonna be coming out with them very soon, recording them at the Hotbox recording facility again. So, they're gonna be dope. Hope it's gonna be like hope we can get them out quick, because I definitely want to get some new music out there.
Hell yeah. Talk about your affiliation with Street Fight Records.
R.I.P. Street Fight Records. They just recently closed up shop.
Oh man.
But Steven and Justin, they were cool enough to put out like, hey, when you guys are coming out with the EP, we'll put it out for you guys. And they did it, and they did tapes, and not sure what the plans are for the future, if there's gonna be another label in its place, but they were cool to work with, and R.I.P.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
All right. This is the last music-related question, and then we're gonna get into some more just personal things, and then
Word
kind
up,
of just
man.
like just off the cuff shit. This is the more random side of the podcast.
Awesome, man.
What would you say your greatest achievement or achievements have been so far as your career as a musician?
For music, just there's definitely a lot of things that I still want to do, and still trying to do, but I definitely think one of the coolest things is just being able to get to know people that I've looked up to as musicians. JR from Next Step Up and Secret Society.
I saw on Instagram you had a picture with Chris from Internal Bleeding.
Yup, that's another guy I've gotten to meet because of this, crazy stuff, and it's just cool, like, being in hardcore death metal, well, mostly like hardcore, is like, these people that you think that like are like so like, revolutionary and, crazy and what have you, they're just like a normal person like you and me. You can go up and have a conversation with them. They're sitting at the merch table at the end of the night, and they all have the same ideas and, things they like and music they like. It's definitely cool, and not trying to get too off topic, but like
Nah, that's the point,
another
man.
another
We
person
can never get too off topic here.
uh like the Dudes in Enemy Mine. That was another band. Like when Jake and I were first jamming, like, you know, this band's so fucking nuts, dude. Like, it'd be crazy like play shows with them, and now we're like friends with the dudes, and you know, just not even just being in a band, but like going out and just meeting people in your favorite bands is even cooler too. Like back when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to shows all the time. When I was a kid, and I got to meet like all sorts of people, whether it was like Brandon Boyd from Incubus
Oh shit.
or Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray. Like I used to be on the Sugar Ray. Anytime Sugar Ray used to come to Baltimore, I used to hang out with them on the bus. Like,
Fucking nice.
it was weird. Shout out Mark McGrath. I know you gotta get him on the pod. Mark McGrath, you gotta get on this podcast right now. I know you don't do much pods,
I'm gonna
but
reach out.
you know, if you guys lock it down, I gotta come through. They used to have a picture of me on their tour bus.
Yeah, I'll
Which I thought
I'll
was
see
really
if
cool.
I can work that out. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll find some sort
yeah.
of fucking publicist email. I got
Yeah.
that shit.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Now I feel a similar way though. You know, kind of like with the Trey Cheney interview and stuff, man. I felt like same way when he came over and stuff like that. You know, it's like you never really know what to expect. You know, it's my first interaction with, you know, a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, but dude,
You meet
so
all
chill, man.
yeah.
So chill.
And the people you meet along the way, like, just go into the craziest things. Like, for instance, the people in Turnstile.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, when I was a kid, those dudes used to mosh.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you know, I seen them, you know, moshing hard to,
Fucking
you know,
booting
everybody
people
from
off the
King
stage
9,
and
you know, at
shit.
the art space, kicking my own, you know,
Yeah.
they're kicking my ass and everybody else's ass. It's just, you know, and now seeing them do, like, where they're at now. Crazy, absolutely crazy. And you know, being in this world and seeing like it's just definitely cool to look back at and seeing like that those people came from, you know, my little world. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
man.
saying?
That's been my like greatest accomplishment of the year because like, you know, it's like you were saying, you know, with the was it Enemy Mine you were saying you
Yeah.
were like you kind of like they were your inspiration and then now you were close friends with them. It's like obviously I look up to Trey Cheney, he's a fucking legendary actor from
Yeah.
The Wire and shit. And now I get to kind of like talk to him personally and shit, not on a like a day-to-day level, but like
Yeah.
I was able to say like, yo, you're going to be at this red carpet thing, and then we were able to fucking chat up there and stuff like that, and we're able to link up and do other things in the future. So yeah, everybody, I want you to do some self-reflection and think about fucking dope shit you did this year and what you're gonna do next year. Try to amp your shit up. You know, like that's
You
the
gotta
thing.
top. You gotta top it next
Your
year.
life is what you make it. You know, and it's like if you got something you want to do, like you're the one that's got to do the shit.
Yeah.
Like
Nobody else is gonna do it for you.
it's up to you. All right. So now we're kind of done talking about the music and stuff like that. I wanted to kind of diverse a little bit because we normally go for like 3.5 hours on this channel, and that was pretty much all I had for the music anyways. So when doing my research, I saw on Instagram you had a lot of car related posts and stuff like that,
Fuck yeah,
especially a
man.
lot of Volkswagens and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Are those your favorite?
Yeah, it's always been like part of the family thing. My dad's been working on Volkswagens for damn near 30 years. So like growing up, we always had one that he was like fixing up or like flipping or like making nice. So it was just naturally I just like got into it. And like I like muscle cars and stuff like that too, but just like I just love just old Volkswagens, like mid 90s, 80s Volkswagens mostly.
What would your like dream build be?
I had one, bro. My 1998 GTI. It was my pride and joy. If you know me and you knew me, you know, probably about like 5 years ago, that car was like my fucking baby. It was painted same color as Audi R8, Panther Black Crystal, had air ride, you know, nice wheels, clean ass interior. Like I'd probably still have it nowadays, but it got hit by a drunk driver.
Ah, jeez.
And like I really want to build another car, and I can't believe it's been damn near like it's been 4 years since I've had the car now, which is like mind-boggling to me that I still don't have one. But like it all happened by like weird circumstances that like it got destroyed too, because like the same day I bought the truck I have now was the same day my car got smashed.
Wow.
And like I had all these ideas, like now I got a truck, I can go fucking haul parts, and like, you know, I want to drive this thing every day, you know. When you have a car with air ride and you don't take really good care of it, you know, the shit tends to freeze. the airlines tend to freeze, so you can't drive the car because the fucking thing won't get off the ground. So the drunk driver that fucking hit it, he lives like down the street from me,
Oh,
and
man.
he'll never be forgiven.
I was just about to say, is this a constant thing in your head? You fucking pass him every time, like, God damn it.
Dude, every time I pass like the same kind of model car, I get like automatically in my feels.
Oh, man.
And like I'm jealous. Like if I see somebody with a nice one, I'm just jealous. Like right off the bat.
Yeah, bro.
And like I've been saying it since then. I'll get another one, but nothing's that came across my eyes that I really want. I mean, that's not like my
Fucking car
only
prices
car.
now are fucking ridiculous, man.
That's another thing too. And like since the whole pandemic, like the price of cars is just crazy. Because like
And the market for those kind of cars too is just getting huge.
the cars that I was really into back then, these things used to be cheap, man. These things you could pick them up for like $2,000, and now people are selling for like $4,000, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and like pristine condition, like tuners and shit, man. Fucking, they can go for tens
Yeah.
of thousands,
Oh, yeah.
man. Especially if you got like a nice Supra or
Yup,
some
or
shit,
if it's
man.
like imported too.
Oh God, yeah.
I love me some imported cars too. I've always wanted to have like a nice like right-hand drive car.
Like a Skyline.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been to a couple places, a couple import dealers before. I'm definitely not as big into the car culture as I used to be when I was younger.
Right.
Mostly just cause like
You play car games and shit, like as a kid?
car video games. Yeah,
Midnight Club?
Yeah, I was super into Midnight Club as a
Bro,
kid.
so I was doing my research for J.D. Williams, the guy who played Bodhi.
Yeah.
And dude, he did voice work for Midnight Club LA.
Really?
Yeah,
Man,
dude.
That's my favorite one.
Right, so like, dude, I played the shit out of that game. I'm gonna definitely
Wow.
ask him about that shit. Like,
Dude, you're blowing my mind right now. I thought I was.
didn't know that
I
shit
thought I knew
either.
the deep cut with him being like an extra in an episode of The Sopranos.
right, dude. Nah,
Along with Michael K. Williams is his name, right?
yeah.
Yeah. The guy who played Odmar. Yeah. He's in that same episode too, which
If you're
is.
listening now, this is an early question that I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask him, like, if him.
Sorry
and
for
Michael,
spoiling it.
Nah. Well, if anything, this is like people that listen get a deep cut
Yeah, man.
beforehand.
I do like me the whole like The Wire and Sopranos lore. So
Yeah, dude. So I was gonna ask him if like him and Michael K. Williams ever discussed like both being on The Sopranos and shit like that.
and if people were even saying like there's this guy I follow on YouTube called Pure Kino,
Okay.
and he does like a lot of he does mostly like Soprano style videos, but I think he has a video where he discusses like is this like Wire Sopranos lore right here,
Right.
that these two just managed to end up in this episode, which I think is pretty cool, and that's an awesome episode. Like I think it's either the second or third season of Sopranos that the Michael K. Williams and Bodhi thing happens, but yeah, it's definitely cool, man.
Hell yeah. So I also saw a picture where you were like riding a bike and said something about a 26er.
Yeah, 26 inch. I got a 26 inch BMX bike. I actually haven't ridden it in a while, and I'm kind of getting sad because of like the whole weather and everything.
Oh yeah.
I know the guys in my band are probably like, "Oh, you're being such a little bitch. We're out here riding all the time," but like most of the time I'm riding that thing. I'm riding with my girlfriend, and I know she doesn't want to go out riding in the fucking cold. Neither do I. I grew up doing that shit, and I'm too old for it now. I got a car at heat.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Yo, man, it's crazy because like I be driving now, and then I look at fucking like some younger teenagers walking and shit. I'm like, damn, I remember that shit. I don't want it.
Yep.
I'll take
Crank the
my car.
heat.
yeah. Fucking, let me push on the pedal a little bit. Fucking, nah, guaranteed. So, is that BMXing been a hobby for you for a while?
Yeah. Like a lot of kids were like into skateboarding and everything, and I thought skateboarding was cool, but it definitely wasn't like BMX. BMX felt like something I could do because I was always like big as a kid.
Yeah.
I wasn't landing no fucking kick flips.
Yeah, no.
Like, I could push a board around, but like riding a bike was just so much easier. Came naturally.
Yeah, man, I've thought about getting another bike. What's funny is, right, like when I first really started like to get into bikes and I was like, hopping curbs and shit like that, like, dude, I was using like not a good bike. I was using my childhood bike and
Yeah.
the fucking chain popped like every
Yeah.
fucking. So like really I do need to find like a good bike. Where would you say like people can shop for like a really good BMX bike?
Pedal pushers in Severna Park. Big shout out to them. I believe the owner's name is Rod. He's in a band called Tugboat. legendary.
Swear to God, yo, Tugboat's gonna be a future guest.
Awesome. Yeah, like that's where I got my bike at. Shout out Pedal Pushers in Severna Park. If you
Yeah,
ever
due
need-
to their shoulder injury, they've been out of commission.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like, yeah, they were gonna come on.
Yeah, I hope that we can like Scrutinize can do a show with Tugboat there at Pedal Pushers. That'd be so sick. That would be like a childhood prophecy dream come true. You know, playing my local BMX shop.
Hell
But,
yeah.
yeah, dude, that's crazy. Small world, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, like I know they're like just coming back and they were around in the 90s and shit. So I was like, yo, they'd be pretty cool to get on and maybe get like an older perspective on the Baltimore scene and whatnot.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So like these, well, you said 26ers was a reference to the
The size of the
26
wheels, yeah. Mhm.
So you said it's just casual riding, really?
Yeah, I mean, I I haven't done it in a while, but there's definitely a couple cool like BMX or not so much BMX trails, but like dirt trails throughout Anne Arundel County and Howard County.
Yeah, because it looked like the photo was in.
Yeah,
the
I think I
trail.
took that at Rockburn State Park, which is in Elk Ridge. Good spot to ride. I just, with the weather changing and everything, maybe when it gets warmer, I can get back into it.
Yeah.
Luckily, Brandon, that's in Scrutinize, he's like big, not only into BMX riding, but he's also into like dirt jumping and riding in trails and stuff. So I just made some upgrades on my bike recently, like right before the weather like started changing, and once the weather breaks, definitely gonna get back out there
Nice.
and maybe start doing some crazy shit. Who knows? I got a
Yeah.
helmet and all this shit. I used to get crazy with it back when I was younger. I got all sorts of problems with me and everything.
Aw, damn.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that fucking scar?
Oh, I fell off a truck at work.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, a couple summers ago.
Oof.
Yeah.
Was it like a high distance or just bad landing?
Probably a combination of both.
You landed on some sharp shit, I guess.
Nah. So I used to work building signs. We used to have, like
Ah.
little trailers full of signage and shit all the time. And so when you got a crane and a big ass sign on it, tends to go rocking back and
Good
forth.
goddamn.
And I was sitting on the back of the trailer and I was walking, like trying to make sure this thing doesn't like fucking, whack the guy on the other side of the trailer off. And I ended up falling off the back.
Oh, damn.
Luckily, I had a hard hat on and.
Oh, fucking A.
Yeah, I landed. I definitely knocked myself out, but
There's been a couple times that when I was working construction, I would have a hard hat and I would like bump my head on a stud and I'd be like, wow, that's what these fucking things are for. Because that shit would hurt. I've hit
Yup.
my head on a stud a couple times.
Yeah,
Studs are hard as shit.
yeah, for sure, man. Tore my ACL before,
Oof.
but luckily, I've been trying to take care of myself in the past couple of years and like work out and stuff, so I could still enjoy things like snowboarding, riding bikes.
Yeah, working out actually, like, here's the thing, right? Because, like, people think, like, if your body's in pain, that working out is gonna, like, make it worse. Like, that's actually not true. Like, that shit, like, doing extra exercise for your body actually can help, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And, like,
And it does so much work for your mental.
figuring out how to, like, bend down correctly, like, really, it's, like, because they say bend down, not over. Really, they need to say squat down, not bend over. 'Cause,
Literally,
like, really, that's
my girlfriend was just, she's telling me about these mobility things and how I need to take extra better care of it. And she's absolutely right. And, I'm very stubborn. And, 2022 was the year I got back into working out. 2023 is the year I get, like, a lot better with my mobility, do more stretching.
Yeah, man.
Definitely
it
hit
helps
the
a
job,
lot. I
man.
had chronic back pain pretty much since construction days, like for over a year. And I work in a warehouse lifting
And
boxes.
then when it
and
gets
shit,
worse.
So it's like, well, it's not worse per se because like with the electrical shit, I had to wear a tool belt full of shit
yeah.
all the time, and
Yeah.
I'm working in these awkward positions, and it's like fucking dragging all that weight on my waist. This isn't as bad, but I still get sore and shit.
Shout out to Dutch Master.
Absolutely. But I started to realize like I really need to figure out how to like bend correctly. So all I did was start squatting down to pick shit up instead of bending over. And that alone has helped tremendously.
Yeah, it took the back pain
Yo,
away,
people
yeah.
are not fucking around. Well,
Yeah.
also, like, you feel your back fucking crack when you do that shit.
You-
Like,
and you definitely got to take care of yourself working those type of jobs, like we touched on earlier.
the diet, all that shit, man.
Dude, I worked
I'm like, if
when
you
I work in this
motherfuckers
time
would
industry.
just pack some yogurt and some cashews or some shit.
Yeah, instead of going to McDonald's every day for lunch, that was that. Like,
Even worse, like, I'm talking, like, vending machine foods, like, fucking legit chips and, like, pastries for, like, and it's crazy.
yeah, eating out of the frozen section in the vending
Oh
machine.
my
Yeah,
God. They finally got
brave.
some decent options. Like, they got some White Castle sliders and some, like, little Red Barons and shit. That's at least, like, I was telling my friend, like, at least that's some garbage you recognize. These fucking, like, big-ass cheeseburgers and
yeah,
shit. Like, yo,
mystery meat.
oh my God, bro. Like, you will not-
the rib one, bro. It'd be hitting. I'm not lying, dude. I'm a McRib guy, and those come pretty close. I used to have I've worked a couple different jobs in my life, and I used to work at a Coast Guard yard at one point. With my roommate Danny, who I was talking about earlier, and like. That's where I saw people literally just not giving a shit about anything. You know, these people are making decent money. They either pack their lunch or they go to this mess hall every day and eat the fucking, drink 6 glasses of Coke.
the gnarliest diet.
Yeah, the crazy.
Fucking, what's that McDonald's?
And
That's
they
some
wonder,
Super
and
Size
they get
Me
back,
shit.
and they get back to their workstations and they fucking sleep. Because it's
I was
all
just gonna
government.
say, they wonder why they're fucking all.
Yeah, it's all government work too. Because nobody's gonna say shit to them
Oh
either.
man, yeah.
I hope I'm not ratting anybody out right now, but
Shit.
just saying, we're all broke, and the government's making all this money, and you're not looking where your tax dollars are going. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So aside from music, like, what else do you like to do in your free time?
Snowboarding.
Oh yeah, I did have a note about that.
Yeah, I love snowboarding.
You get into skiing at all?
Not really. I always wanted to try skiing. Snowboarding was just kind of like one day I went, and I kind of learned it. I went back.
Where have you gone to snowboard?
I've been to mostly of just like I've been to Liberty a fuck ton because it's
Right.
right
Is that
there.
a good place for like a beginner?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I've been to Liberty, been to Whitetail, been to Round Top, which all three of those right here, they're all within driving range of here, and it's all great spots to learn. I learned at Liberty. I've been to Wisp. I went out there for the first time not that long ago. I think it was either last season or season before, which was cool. It's definitely like one of the bigger like mountain spots around here.
Have you gone out of Maryland?
Yeah. Casey and I a couple years ago we went up to New York and Vermont and
Oh, nice.
it was cool. I thought he was going to mention something about that in the podcast, but the shit in Colorado is probably way cooler than
I was gonna say, yo, I'm from Colorado, like I said,
Yeah.
and I kind of want to get
This-
into snowboarding, just because it's like so big out there,
Yeah.
and just because you
I
need
still
shit to
on
do.
my bucket list to go. Well, not bucket list, but like, I mean, I guess you could say bucket list. I still want to go out there and like check it out because I know once I go out riding out there and I come back here, it's gonna be totally different.
Yeah, definitely.
Be zooming past people like you wouldn't believe. That's how I felt when I like went up to like New York and Vermont for the first time. Like their blues up there are like black diamonds around here. Like it was like, oh well, if I didn't learn, I guess I'm gonna learn now.
You gonna learn today?
For sure. And I've probably been doing it since I think I've been snowboarding every year since like 2016, 2017.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool. Even though coming back from like an ACL tear, I never thought I'd be able to do it again. Was able to get
Yeah.
back on a couple seasons later, and I'm gonna try and go in a couple weeks. I didn't buy a season pass this year, but I'm gonna still try to go in a couple weeks because I have like vacation time and at least want to get some snow time in this year. I think I bought the pass last year, only went 2 times, and it was
Right.
like, why the fuck am I spending all this money?
For sure.
You think I'd be getting a credit with the shit too?
Nah, one thing I'm gonna eventually get into because my buddy at work was telling me like he think I'd be good at it, and it's something him and his friends do is like rock climbing, not like outdoor, going to like an indoor course
Yeah,
and shit.
yeah, I got homies into that.
I was supposed to go yesterday, but the fucking weather was like so goddamn shitty,
Yeah.
and it's an hour away, and they were gonna go.
I
at,
hope
like,
it wasn't gonna fuck. Well, originally I thought that we were having this yesterday, and then I was like, I had to go back and look at the message. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, dude. I was like, and he wanted to go like late in the evening. I was like, we just gonna have to go another time. Well, he's actually he's deploying into the army, so like,
Oh yeah.
I told him like, dude, we gonna get a drink or something at the very least. But
Yeah.
like, now I want to get into rock climbing because like,
I'd like to try it out too. Now that I've been like, working on myself and getting stronger and everything. And like this season, I'm really hyped about snowboarding because like it's the first season. Like I can anytime I've ever gone snowboarding, I've done like nothing to prepare for. Like no gym time and just showing up, wrecked next day, like, in bed the whole entire day, just sore. But this time, I think I'll be in a much better spot.
now like when you like are a beginner and you fail at snowboarding, like how bad is it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause like skateboarding can be pretty rough. You know what I'm saying?
Honestly, if you have experience skateboarding, you have such a better advantage at snowboarding because you already know the motions of the board are a little bit similar,
Okay.
and definitely having that balance helps. I had a little bit, but my biggest thing was just I couldn't stand my knees. I could never like just position myself right and get into. It took me a couple seasons to like actually be able to make it down a mountain without falling. So
Gotcha.
it doesn't happen overnight. And for some people it might, but for hard-headed, stubborn people like me, it takes a while.
All right. So anything else besides snowboarding that you can think of?
Thrifting's pretty cool. I like going to thrift
Okay.
shops once in a while.
Now, I got
yeah.
a question. Like, is it just like for personal pieces? So
Yeah, nothing to like resell.
I got you. So what's your opinion on the resale thing? Because this is something that I've brought up a couple times, and I was bringing it up yesterday because there's like a whole ethical fucking side to it.
I got friends that have it as a hustle, so I really, I feel for them.
Right.
That there's definitely people out there that price gouge the shit out of
That's
some
kind
things.
of what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about no resale.
I
People been doing that shit forever, and they're
yeah,
not the ones. ruining the
I'm
shit.
talking about like the dumbest shit possible.
$1,000 T-shirts and shit.
Yeah, like for like
A fucking vintage Fleetwood Mac shirt.
yeah, or like a local business or something like a cool looking design. Like I'm not in that shit. Like I go to the thrift store, I see something that I like, I take it,
Right.
take it home. Either don't wear it and it just sits in my house, or I just take it back to the thrift store and pick something else up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
But recently, like with my girlfriend, like we'll go to like a thrift store, like look at like the cooking stuff. That's she like. Most of the time we go, she's always walking out with like one thing, like one kitchen gadget she can find. I went to a thrift store the other day actually, and when I was a kid, I actually should have brought it with me. I totally forgot. I could have brought like my weed and shit in it. But when I was a kid, my dad used to have this this box from Animal Kingdom, Disney. It's like this wooden box, and he used to keep his pipes, weed, everything in it. I was just looking around the store and I seen it the other day and I just had to fucking have it. It was like $1, and I still gotta clean it up. And it looked like there's some weed residue in it. It looked like somebody used it for weed before. So somebody must have went to Disney World and had the same like, yeah, damn, but nice thing to keep a shit in. But you definitely come across some cool shit out thrift
Ever
shopping.
toke up at any place like fucking Disneyland, any shit like that?
Have I, dude?
What's the most like public place you've toked up?
That I've toked up at? Dude, I smoke weed like it's fucking a cigarette, dude. I
For
literally
me, it was Hershey Park.
You sparked up at Hershey Park. All right,
My
that's
friend,
pretty,
yeah.
I haven't
On the
gone,
Ferris wheel and like on a bench.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that crazy. Usually I take like a pen or something with
Nothing
me.
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, he had like the smallest little one-hitter piece, and we were just fucking.
Yeah. Shit, man.
The bench was low key kind of sketchy. We were pushing it on the bench.
That's a good question, man. I've smoked in some pretty cool spots.
Just because you mentioned like the Disney and shit, like it just brought it up. I
Yeah,
was
it's,
like,
smoking like on the lift, like snowboarding, always cool, always
Gotcha.
awesome. Yeah, I'm always doing that
Is
shit.
that shit pretty easy? Like,
Just, as long as you don't drop it on the way up to the lift or like when you're on the lift, you know. Fucking dude, people are
well, it's the
slinging
age of
beers.
the dab pen. People ain't gotta worry.
I've
Like,
lost so many snowboarding too. Oh,
oh
man,
man, it
dude,
just falls
literally,
out.
yeah.
That's the
It
worst.
was actually at Wisp. I had like a brand new cart, like one of the Aero Pros from the dispensary.
Ooh, those are nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah, just had a brand new
I
cart
thought
on
about
it.
getting one too.
We were all hitting on the lift, and then I hit a box, and it just fell out of my coat pocket. I don't know
Damn,
where it
that's
went.
like
Some kids
for people
probably
who
ride
don't
around with
know.
it.
That's not like losing your average pen.
Yeah.
That's like an upscale.
It's a whole
kinda-
device.
Yeah, oof, dude, and I haven't gotten one yet, but it's kind of like on my list.
They're nice. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I've hit one like once, and I was like, oh, okay, this is.
They got some
pretty
good. They got
nice.
some good strains too. Fuck.
I think
dude.
I saw my buddy in this one band fucking hitting it inside this brewery. I was like looking at him hitting. I was like, that looks like a motherfucking Aero Pro.
If I know I'm recanting things, but going back to the B12 stories, talking about places smoking, rental vans, man, always a trip. I remember the last time we went out on the road, like out to Chicago, they all brought their dab rig. Like anytime we were on the road, there was like a dab rig involved, and it's just in a moving vehicle with a torch and shit. It's just doing dabs behind the wheel.
Yo, I'm not gonna
smoking
lie,
at crazy
yo.
places.
First time, like, because I was out in Colorado and my cousin we had a nectar collector in the whip, and I was like, yeah, first time I'm like, damn, like, am I gonna be able to blow a torch like this? But I was like, nah, it's not that bad. A rig's probably different though.
Going back to rigs. Now we're going back to stories. When we played Beatdown Nation, I think it was out in Brooklyn. I remember walking out of the venue and Casey's car was just like in the middle of the street, and he
Oh
was
my
just
God.
torching dabs, just like in the middle of the street, and like I think Beatdown Nation, like it was my first time like really hanging out in New York for the first time like ever since I was a kid.
Right.
So like back when I was a kid, there wasn't like people like smoking weed and shit all over the streets. This is back before it was decriminalized too. There, like now it's fucking. I don't know if you keep up with like
I've seen videos online.
Yeah, it's literally a free for all up there. It's crazy. I want to go up there and check it out.
Amsterdam.
Yeah. But like just walking around and seeing Casey out there, just I think it's always been like even every band I've always been in, we're always smoking before and after we play, like
Right.
and Scrutinize, like we're always smoking a blunt like after we play. Like if it's a friend's band's playing, like we'll go back in, but we might have to save this question for the next time that that I come back on here with Jake.
Oh,
Talking about places that we
definitely. Yeah,
smoke.
that'll be just like a whole episode of debauchery. I was telling the people, like, I've been kind of waiting until I was, of the right age to really tell a bunch of, like, proper stories. Like,
Yeah.
I got shit in the vault, man, like, from high school and shit. Like, shit's funny, dude.
Better go make sure the doors closed. Nah, fucking with you.
Nah. Yeah, they kind of. Who you think picked me up from these scenarios,
Yeah,
man?
right.
Fucking, yeah, they know what's
Yep.
Their parents know what's up, man. So what bands do you think are just killing it in general right now in hardcore?
Ooh, and hardcore. Pain of Truth. They're absolutely killing it right now with just like their whole live performance aspect and just like the way they get the crowd going. I'm probably just gonna do this in like a weird order, like big bands and then like local bands. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
big bands I think are killing it. Like not bigger bands, but like bands are out there killing it right now in hardcore. Pain of Truth definitely for sure. Life's Question, another good band, both featuring the one and only Ridge Ryan. Shout out him, incredible guitarist and artist. Going back to hardcore guitarist, I need to add a fourth. It's Ridge Ryan. He's an absolute fucking monster. Fucking Life's Question, New World Man, Pain of Truth. He's the fucking king of riffs. Another band is killing it, Not One Truth. We're gonna be playing with them in New Jersey soon. They're an awesome band. They're heavy. Targeted from Long Island.
Hell yeah.
Another band that's absolutely killing it. NYC Shootout. I'm getting into like the local bands now. Sorry.
Nah, yo, we need to shout out
Yeah.
the local bands, man.
Yeah.
Fuck
These
it.
definitely NYC Shootout. There's something special going on in Long Island with all those bands. Targeted, NYC Shootout, Exsanguinated, Stabbed. I could go on with all the bands that are going out there that feature like the same members, but the Long Island scene's got something special going right now. I know Jake probably got into it when he was talking on here.
Of course, yeah.
It's always a good time playing out there too. Just the people are about the music out there.
Well, also doesn't Scrutinize have something about East Coast unity in the bio?
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
that's what it's all about. Every time Maryland Hardcore podcast happens here on Harbor Discussions, we always talk about fucking Philly, New York.
Hey man,
Jersey.
Mike came from the New Jersey scene. That's where he's from, and that's definitely like how we came with like the whole East Coast unity thing, because it's like, hey man, we're cool with each other. That's that. I guess.
Definitely. Other than hardcore, what kind of music do you get into on the regular?
Death metal has always been like, it's like hardcore, and then like death metal has always been above it. Always been like, there's always gonna be like an influence of death metal, like with whatever I do or write. So, death metal bands are killing it right now. Stabbed, I already mentioned them. Incredible Long Island band, Vomit Forth. Another great band with great dudes in it, absolutely killing it. They're out there on the road. I don't know if you ever heard of the band Stabbing from Texas. They're a fucking incredible band. They just put out a record. It is fucking, I can't stop listening to them. Listen to it at the gym, in the car ride. It's some real heavy shit. But I do like have like kind of like a softer side. I love like bands like Soul Blind and Teenage Wrist.
Okay.
Like kind of like the alternative 90s shoegazy all kind of bands. Like if I had to pick like three genres, it'd be like death metal, that, or hardcore, and then like 90s alternative type shit.
Okay.
Love that type of shit. Bands like Title Fight, that were crossing over like from the hardcore realm to that shit, absolutely killer. And I mean, it's very prevalent in the hardcore scene too, with the whole 90s crossover thing with like Soul Blind. They're a hardcore band. They're like a soft band on a hardcore band label.
Right.
And it's cool to see them doing that shit. And I'm actually gonna go see them tomorrow night at the Metro Gallery. So shamelessly plugging that. I know this. I know this probably won't air in time, but
nah, but it's a cool reference anyway.
yeah. They're taking over the world, man.
Any like hip hop rap?
Yeah, I absolutely. My mom, I grew up listening to hip hop, Tribe Called Quest, The Far Side, Biggie, all the East Coast shit you could think of, Big L. Loved that shit growing up. But
I always say, like, people always have Biggie versus Tupac. I'm like, Nas.
yeah, absolutely. I love Nas. Loved him growing up too. When I got into like middle school, like I started getting heavier shit, I found out like what underground hip hop was.
Right.
And so that's always been like my favorite type of thing, Necro, Jedi Mind Tricks, fucking Jazz Addicts, goddamn, Army of the Pharaohs. I could go on all day. There's such a rabbit hole with like
I was gonna say,
like
kids don't know
hip-hop
nothing about
too.
none of that.
Yeah, a couple, Mike, he likes like Aesop Rock and stuff, and I love Aesop Rock. That was another like artist when I was younger, like finding out about like underground artists. Like that was one that like his beats were incredible, his flows were amazing. But like if I had to give like all time, it's probably like Jedi Mind Tricks. Like
Okay.
MF Doom. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade when I found out about MF Doom, and like at that time, like
he's probably the one that like if any of these, like if kids today would know about any of them, it would be MF Doom.
yeah, and his legacy's gonna live on forever now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's he always had this like moniker, like he'd always have like somebody showing up and doing a performance for him. So
yeah,
he might still be around. You never know.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
Do you get into any of the like modern rap at all?
So I recently have been like really falling off the wagon just because like I keep up with like podcasts so much.
Right.
Shit. But like I really liked like the whole Griselda thing, like
absolutely. Hell
Benny the
yeah,
Butcher,
man.
fucking
Have you heard
Comedy the
West
Machine.
Side Gun's new tape?
I haven't listened to it yet, no, but I've listened to everything else.
Yeah,
So I mean,
Hitler Wears Hermes 10 is fucking like phenomenal, dude.
yeah.
The first track is actually like something very different. Like it's like more on like the modern side of things.
I was listening to that podcast episode and he mentioned something about I might listen to it on the way home.
Yeah, dude, cause like I sat out on my like cousin's porch and like smoked a cigar early in the morning and was like just out on the porch, just like listening to it with my beats on. So like,
Dude,
it was a vibe, dude.
yeah, and you know, that's the type of shit I like too, and I
yeah.
like wish I was like more in tune with it, and like I definitely have like a whole backlog of like more music I need to check out from that whole entire like group. When I was in like high school and shit, I was really big into the whole Odd Future thing, so
Hell yeah.
and you know that crossed over into the hardcore thing too, so you know.
Oh yeah, their older shows used to be crazy,
Yeah.
and like Trash Talk's actually on their label and shit. I
Yeah.
don't know if they still are, but I know they started out on the Odd
Yeah, they
Future
definitely and
label.
they did so many shows and shit together, and it was cool seeing that. And
Yeah,
fucking
Trash Talk's actually one of my like favorite hardcore bands, dude. Like,
Legendary.
I gotta see Trash Talk, man.
Yeah, I feel like they did like a tour and like played Baltimore not that long ago, but I could be stoned and thinking of something entirely different.
If it was probably a part of the like, was it part of the Suicide Boys tour?
No, I don't think so. I literally think it was like a wind up space.
Gotcha.
But
Cause I never see them around this side.
yeah,
If I have to, like, if they ever had, like, if their last show was in California, like, I damn near got to cop a flight. Cause,
Yeah.
like, I gotta see Trash Talk.
yeah, I think they'll be. I think they'll be back like and be doing shit. Again
Yeah.
soon one day.
And I love Babylon too, the clothing line.
Yeah, that's yeah. So did they have to close down that fucking like skate park thing? I thought I seen
Yeah, they
something on
moved
Instagram.
locations.
Oh, okay, word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have like I think they probably have a new setup by now. But yeah, dude, that whole like I'd love to go there one day for
Yeah,
like, one of
yeah,
their
same.
barbecue events, man.
Or even like go to like the Odd Futures like retail locations, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
always remember seeing pictures like back on Instagram when I was younger of like fucking Tyler Creator's E30 BMW sitting outside.
Oh,
and I was
dude,
like,
he's
yeah,
got a
this is-
fucking sick car collection.
Yes, yeah, that's a whole fucking
Clean ass fucking vintage cars,
yeah,
man.
dude. But Odd Future back in like high school, really loved that shit. Domo Genesis, Mellow Hype.
Yeah, I like ASAP Mob.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
all of
another big
them.
one too. Yeah, A$AP Mob was definitely fucking. It was cool, and you know, I feel like that put a lot of people on to like old Memphis type shit and like
Yeah.
old Texas kind of stuff, and like that's even another like old Tommy Wright the Third thing. Love.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
wanna
yeah,
get
we
into Memphis
mentioned that
rap and shit.
reference
That's my
on-
boy, man. Shout out Tommy. Calls me family, man. I went and seen him recently, or I think it was right before COVID. He played at Auto Bar.
Oh, hell yeah, nice.
Got to talk to him for a little bit. He's the coolest fucking dude on earth. And like, dude, he's just like a normal guy, but like, he's just so legendary. Like you can just talk to him. Like he's like,
Let's get Tommy Right the Third on the
Dude,
podcast.
get him on here. I think he'd be down, yo. I think he'd be, dude. He's so DIY. He literally,
I'm literally down for like, dude. You'll be surprised. Like I be hitting people up, man.
Dude. Hit him up, man. I think he'd be down. The first time I saw him was actually at a house show.
Oh wow,
in
man, that's
College
dope.
Park, and like, it was just crazy that like you know, a guy this legendary is playing at a fucking house in College Park.
Oh, absolutely.
Got to meet him then too, and like so down to earth, chill. And then I don't know if you keep up with him, but he recently just did a track for he produced a track for Beyonce, and it's up for a Grammy.
Oh shit, I did
So
not know that.
he's going to like the red carpet and shit. Like,
That's
shout out
dope,
to him, man.
Hell yeah,
He's fucking, he's with the shit, man.
fucking for sure.
Tyler Wright the Third, legend. Memphis
You ever heard
legend.
of Divine Council?
No, I don't think so.
So it's this group out of Virginia. So it's Silk Money, who's basically the main artist I'm
sounds so
talking
fam-
about. Yeah,
the name
it's
is-
like it's $$ and then Ilk
Okay,
Money.
I've seen the name before.
He had this song on TikTok pop, but what's fucking the funny thing is, it's his most like dumbed down fucking song. Like, and it's basically him just saying the same thing, but it's him like shouting out his clique. But like, dude, his whole other discography is fucking like insane, and like
Yeah.
the old shit is like the group is him, Cyrax, and Lord Linko, and like their shit's fucking really
It
good.
goes way back, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean it's good as hell.
They got like an extensive back catalog, like the Suicide Boys do.
You know what's crazy is their fucking like discography's not huge or anything like that. The thing is, like, they actually like the group disbanded and whatnot. So like they really like Silk Money's got projects out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And like he's actually like super into like mycology and mushrooms and shit like that. So that's like a lot about what he raps about and shit like that. But like his lyricism is off the fucking chart.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is, it's like it's a shame that people fucking blew up that one song because it's like the least lyrical song he's ever fucking put out. And like I know for a fact, like, because when I bump his like latest shit in the car, I'm like, yo,
Totally different.
people would not like
Yeah.
this. They'd be like, this is too lyrical.
Yeah.
I can't. This isn't club music.
Yeah.
Like, because it challenges
That's-
their thought.
Yeah, that's always been the thing with like me and underground rap too. Like people would always be like, why don't you like listen to like Lil Wayne and Drake and stuff? Like, cause like shit ain't good, man. Like, you know, they might come up with some like good hooks once in a while, but like gotta have some shit. That
Lil
makes you
Wayne's got
think.
good metaphors.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. I forgot another artist I forgot to mention was like Immortal Technique. That was like another artist I found, like underground artist I found out early on. You know, the whole Dance with the Devil shit. Everybody knows about that, but like his lyrics and everything really was like my beginnings of my conspiracy theory kind of fucking
Yeah, man.
questioning like what the fuck is really going on in this
Wu-Tang,
world.
that whole
Yeah, man, now I'm about to go down the Wu-Tang rabbit hole. I love Wu-Tang.
Ghostface,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm.
RZA.
Yeah, I fucking Liquid Swords. I was just listening to that like last week. I love that record.
Hell yeah.
Classic. Forgot more shit I'm like into.
Suicide Boys is dope too. I saw them at the Red Rocks.
Yeah, I remember you saying
I
something
saw
about
Freddie
that.
Gibbs at the Red Rocks too.
I was literally gonna bring up Freddie
Flatbush
Gibbs.
Zombies.
I love
That
Freddie
show
Gibbs.
was sick, man.
I love the Freddie Gibbs Mad Lib shit is my. I love that shit.
Hell yeah.
I fucking.
He was good.
Yeah.
I wish Danny Brown was there, but I got there pretty late. I
Yeah.
didn't get to see Danny
Oh,
Brown.
damn.
Yeah.
Dude, Freddie Gibbs is the funniest dude on the internet.
Do you like the Danny Brown podcast on YMH?
I've checked it. I've checked out the like a couple like clips here and there. I haven't checked out like a whole episode yet.
Yeah.
I seen like the snippet on of him on Rogan, and Rogan was talking about Brendan Schaub, and he was like, Brendan Schaub dressing nice. He was like, no, he doesn't. I thought that was hilarious.
So like back when the Dana White like beef was going on with Brendan Schaub, me and the distinguished D Gents, my brother and his friend, we did like a whole like side clip talking about it and shit like that. And what's funny is he was talking about how Dana White like dresses like young and shit like that. I'm like, bro, like you get like read your Instagram comments, bro. Like your styles, like if you're talking shit about that, like don't.
Yeah,
You know,
I seen
He's got some decent fits, but like I see why people make fun of him and
seen
shit.
Dana
It's
White
like,
talking shit about the what was that? Fucking he was talking shit about some sport. Did you see that recently?
I don't think so.
Jesus. Somebody's probably listening to this, probably thinking, you fucking knew he was talking about this, but I remember him talking shit about something recently, and people were like mad as fuck. Some sport.
I'll have to look that up later. What are some like recent shows you've attended?
I think the last show I went, well, tomorrow will be the Soul Blind show, but I think the last show I went to was back in November, I want to say. Yeah, I think the last show I went to was the Vama 4th show with Genocide Pact and No Mas at Autobar back in November. I think it was the last one I went to. I could be wrong, but then again, I go to so many shows. Like
Right.
during the quarantine, it drove me crazy not being able to go to shows. Cause that's like
I bet.
people go to bars and shit. I go to shows, you know, and it was hell that whole entire time. And I remember the first show I went back to. It was actually still during the pandemic. I think it was in 2021. It happened in Pittsburgh. It was just like a word of mouth thing. Jake and I showed up, and fucking there was people there, and bands played. No bullshit. Nobody got sick.
Nice.
It was awesome, man, and it felt like it was back. And like a couple months later, I think the first show back like around here was at Autobar. It was like End It and Queensway. And
That's a good show.
Yeah, for sure. There was a couple other bands that played, but like for that being the first show back, that was fucking.
Oh hell yeah, that's what I'm
a
saying.
banger to come back to.
Definitely.
And then Screw and I played our first show not that long after that. So and we've been playing pretty consistently since. We don't have anything booked yet for the new year, but around here, but hopefully soon we can get some shit
Well, eventually I want to throw like a harbor discussion show with like all the bands I've had on the podcast and shit like that.
That'd
I
be
was trying to
sick,
get
yeah.
that in the works, but like I tried doing it so late in the year that like pretty much all the other bands, like all the bands pretty much like were had their shit planned out.
Yeah.
So like next year sometime I am going to like, it'll be like fucking
You heard it here.
Scrutinize, Don't Start None, Suck a What, Deep Rest, Bedroom Floor, fucking and future bands, that I get on the podcast too.
That'd be pretty dope.
Well, yeah,
sick.
man.
Another band I want to mention that's killing right now in the scene, Brainwaves. That's another cool band.
Okay.
Local band. It'd be pretty cool to have it. You should have those dudes on here too. They've been in the scene for a long time.
Dope. Okay.
Yeah, definitely some cool people.
Hell yeah. This is pretty much my last note, man.
Word.
Just I want to talk about like movies and shows and shit that you're into right now.
So I just recently watched X the other night.
Okay.
I don't know if it's like the latest A24 movie, but damn good. I really liked it.
I've probably seen the trailer for that. I'll have to.
I'm a big fan of all the A24
Yeah, no,
stuff.
me too,
And,
definitely.
yeah. Hereditary, Midsummer.
Yeah, with me and Jake got into a whole
Yeah.
Ari Aster discussion, man.
Yeah. Definitely some awesome fucking movies. I really liked Uncut Gems too.
Definitely, yeah.
Some people were like, "Dude, how did you like a movie? It wasn't even full cool." I was like, "Dude, it's
I've
literally
even
like-
I even liked some of their older flicks. They did Spring Breakers. I thought that was all right.
you know what's crazy? I've never seen that movie,
Like
and I remember like it being hyped up because it was like this character's supposed to be Riff Raff.
Dude, yeah, like the whole thing is like I thought that movie was gonna be just all about spring break, so like to have this whole character like that, I thought that was pretty good. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Like to see James Franco like that is fucking hilarious. And I remember like
I didn't know that was like their first, or that was one of their movies.
yeah, and then the Bling Ring too is pretty well
Never
made.
seen that either.
Yeah, I just watched it because it was
There's
on.
probably a
Amazon
whole bunch I
Prime.
haven't seen. I'll probably have to like do like a list.
Yeah, that was my introductory into A24. What like any other like shows and stuff
Ooh,
like that?
Shows. I just watched The Watcher recently on Netflix.
Okay.
That was all right. My biggest thing is YouTube. I do.
feel ya.
I get on YouTube and literally like I could see somebody recommend and be like, all right, I want to watch this, and like
I feel you, man.
it'll be something like there's like a whole array of shit. Whether it's fucking like I really like I don't know why, but prank videos end up in my shit all the time, and like I find these stupid fucking people doing pranks, or it's a lot of like interrogation shit,
Okay.
like the Mind of a Criminal.
Aha.
I don't know if you ever seen that channel. Crazy shit. Like it's almost like a episode of like something you'd see on like MSNBC. Like meet this criminal. He did this, this, and that, and like it'll show you like a lot of these people that end up on this channel. They committed like murder, and it's like them like trying to get the truth out of them.
Have you ever seen Soft White Underbelly?
Yeah,
He's got
yeah.
some crazy shit
Yeah,
on there.
for sure,
Mark
man.
just went on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I saw that.
I
Yeah,
want to listen to that episode.
yeah, I gotta listen to that too. I listened to a little bit of the first time he was on there. That was pretty interesting. But shit, man.
I don't think I've listened to that one.
I think it was last year, but
Gotcha.
yeah, he has so many fucking people. Like I don't really keep up on the show. Like he has guests on there. Like if I see a guest on there, like he had Sam Tripoli on there recently. That was a good episode. I've listened to the one with Stavros and the Protect Our Parks one. That was pretty good.
Dude, Protect Our Parks is always funny
Yeah.
as shit.
Yeah, I fucking
I'm in agreement. I don't listen to everyone either.
Yeah.
Like I have to know the person damn near.
there's a lot of comedy podcasts out there that I really do like though. Like the Cumtown, well not the Cumtown anymore. The Adam Friedland show. Listen to the newest episode today. That shit. That's another podcast that gets me through our work day. It's just literally it reminds me of just listening to like my friends and I on an Xbox Live party, just talking about the stupidest shit and just riffing off of each other.
Yeah. Any other podcasts?
Tinfoil Hat, Broken Simulation, all the Sam Tripoli shit. The Quit Your Brain While You Still Can with Taylor Madison and Jay Clark from the band Wed Wing is one of the funniest podcasts. Hard Lore is like, I think Hard Lore might be the best right now. I was talking about it with somebody recently. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but
Nah.
dude, I think it's like one of the better podcasts out there. You probably enjoy it. It's mostly like Colin Young from Twitching Tongues and Bo Luders, I think his last name is. He's a guitarist for Harm's Way. They just invite people on, just ask them questions like about tour and stuff.
Hell yeah.
And like they've had some pretty good guests on there. And they do like Q&A type shit too. Like, you know, fans can write in shit. They have like a DIY like tour guide, like something you can listen to like prepare for your very first tour. I think
that's cool.
Yeah, I think they're killing the podcast game. It's like one of those.
I'll link them in the description too.
Yeah, for sure. Fucking the X-Men podcast with Doc Coyle. That's a really good one.
Okay.
He's from the band Bad Wolves, and God forbid, he just has like people that used to be. I think to be a guest on there, you have to have been in a band and then like had left, or like gone on and done other things. So it like all sorts of different artists end up on there, not just like in the like metal world, but like a lot of like like people in rock bands that you used to hear about like when you're younger end up on there. It's pretty interesting.
Right. Yeah,
But
me.
Shit. Fuck. I know it's not around anymore, but a really cool podcast. I wish it would come back. Was the Brooklyn Blast Furnace. That was a really cool podcast for like they would have like graffiti writers and New York hardcore people. That's another whole realm of shit. Is like graffiti shit. I love like.
Okay.
I'm not into this shit anymore, but like when I was younger, I used to love just like looking. I still do like looking at trains and like.
Oh yeah, well, like you go into Baltimore, it's like that's
Yeah.
all you see.
Yeah, I've had.
Even as a kid, like that's some shit I remember is like going into Baltimore and just like looking at the graffiti and going, "Wow, that shit's cool."
Caspa, shout out Caspa. When I was really young, he sent me a fucking a whole gallon bag full of stickers, and I still have them. And like anytime I get something, I put a Caspa sticker on it.
Nice.
Just supporting the whole local graffiti scene. Gotta support like the hardcore scene. No, I'm just kidding.
Shit, that'd be cool to get interviews too, man.
Yeah, dude, they're out there, man. There's a couple graffiti podcasts listening out there too. The 7Z podcast, that's another one. They do like mostly like New York people though, and there's so many different New York artists. That's like the mecca.
Oh yeah.
For fucking graffiti. So anytime
Like the
they have a
mecca
guest
for
on there, I'm finding out
basically.
a different person like every time I listen to that one. But fucking yeah, I would love to have a day where I just went around New York and looked at just nothing but graffiti. That'd be sick.
Yeah, I want to go into New York probably this year, and just because I'm into the whole streetwear shit, so like just going there for shopping and shit like
Yeah.
that. And there's just all sorts of tourist attractions and shit like there. It's like the mecca for everything.
Yeah, the mecca for weed right now too. man.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Zaza.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
Fucking for me, like I'm watching Boardwalk Empire right now.
Yeah.
I'm catching up on Oz because of J.D. Williams coming on, kind of doing my
I've gotten in that
research.
show before. Yeah, I think I've made it to the second season. It's crazy seeing like all the different people from different HBO shows in there.
Yeah,
too.
I know.
Eve
Yeah,
Falco.
fucking Carmella's in there as a CEO. I forgot that, and then I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, dude, because
Um,
I got like one season in, and then I think I was watching The Sopranos at the time, and just that took over. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Some hardcore lore for you. Evan Seinfeld from Biohazard is, I forget what his character's name is, but I think he comes in around the third season. He's in Oz.
Oh shit.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Nice.
There's that crossover. You know The Sopranos though?
Oh, dude, yeah, I finished that. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Next podcast. Dude, I fucking love The Sopranos. I actually almost wore a Bada Bing shirt here, so
Dude, nice.
yeah,
I've thought about doing like comparison episodes for like different gangster series and stuff like that. So maybe we could get you in for one of those.
dude, yeah, definitely. There's so many Godfather references in
Oh
The
yeah.
Sopranos too. Like they're always referencing mob movies in that show. It's always like a
Trying to remember what
fourth
Sil
wall
would
tattoo.
always say. Fucking.
He's always quoting The Godfather.
I know. Fucking. It's something that Tony would always ask him to say too. Fuck. Fuck it. They pull me out. They
And
drag me back in.
Yeah.
I used to have a button where it was Polly going, "Oh."
Oh, yeah, dude, Paulie. I think Paulie and Sil are the best fucking characters.
Yeah, them and Chris are my three. Me and my dad were literally talking about this
Oh.
earlier.
Yeah, fuck
I
yeah, man.
didn't. Dude, do you follow Official Mafia page on Instagram?
No, what-
Dude, follow Official Mafia page, man. It's a fucking excellent page, man. It's run by this chick, and she fucking, like, just posts, like, shit from all sorts of mob movies, fucking TV shows, everything like that. It's dope.
you ever see? I forget what the guy's name is. He does like talks about like mob stories on YouTube. You ever seen that guy?
Michael Franzese? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
dude, did you see the fucking like fight he got in with fucking Sammy the Bull Gravano, dude? Dude, they did like a fucking like Zoom call podcast and they were legit beefing, bro. In real
Is it on
time, you
YouTube
can
still?
watch a mafia beef. Yes, it's on
All right, I'm
YouTube.
gonna do some
Dude,
research.
Sammy the Bull is like all respect. Yo, I'm just saying, yo, he was straight like he was losing, bro. He was not like, dude. He fucking was looking like Piers Morgan up there, man. Like he was fucking interrupting and shit like that. Like it was
Shit's
crazy.
been going
Dude,
down
it
on
was some no
podcasts
jumper
lately.
shit.
Yeah,
It
I was
was
only
some-
about to say shit's been getting heated on podcasts lately.
We
get
keep it
knocked
chill
out.
over here at Harbor Discussions. You
Yeah.
see, we got the bud and the candles and shit. We got vibes over here. We're
Yeah, with no
chilling.
egos.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking yeah, dude. So this is pretty much the end. What are some upcoming gigs you got for Scrutinize?
Next
Don't start
Scrutinize
none.
show I can think of is February 20th
Okay.
at Jimmy's Bar in Kearney, New Jersey with Not One Truth. Hate Still Burns, Negative Force, and Delusion. And I really can't think of any local shows coming up soon, but hopefully
Anything for Don't Start None?
nothing planned yet. I know I'll probably leave here and we'll probably get some offers rolling in, but we might have some couple shows soon. One thing I didn't get into, which I meant to, was I have a project I've been working on for like 3 years with
Okay.
the Dudes in a Road. Another great band, shout out them, A Road. Great Baltimore death metal hardcore band. We've been working on like this like rock music type thing for like 3 years. I just
Okay.
can't get the shit out. I have to write lyrics for it, and like when I start writing lyrics, I get into like writer's block and just.
Hey, this shit's hard, man.
But one day I'm plugging it right now. It's gonna be out and it's gonna rock your socks. It's some
Hell
good
yeah.
stuff.
Fucking right, man.
It's for the rockers and the moshers. It's some good stuff.
Hell yeah. Any other shout outs, man?
No, I just want thanks for bringing me on here.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah, man, it was awesome, man.
Hell yeah.